15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Game of the weekend, that's Georgia and Texas. But when it comes to the NFL, Chiefs 49ers, Perloff, where it's at. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. You got the Chiefs off their bye. You've got the 49ers off of a mini bye because they played last Thursday. So it kind of feels like forever since we've seen these teams. And there's a lot at stake in this game, according to you.
Yeah, I mean, if the Niners can pull this off, it is an incredible feat because nobody beats Andy Reid off a bye, and nobody beats Patrick Mahomes when he's a betting underdog. They're both of those two things are virtually undefeated.
Give us the stats.
Okay, Andy Reid is 21-4 off a bye. I have to double check the Mahomes stat. He's something like 11-1 as an underdog. Now, I don't know if that's covering or winning
outright,
but I think like he's unbeatable as an underdog. The other thing too is, you got to remember this game. It's not just Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, you saw what happened on Monday night. Like the officials are going to play a big role in this game too. They've been very, very active in prime time. They're definitely pro Chiefs. I'm sorry. It'd be a huge task for this Niners team, who hasn't been great this year, to win this game. To me, I think it would be, with Detroit having the Aiden Hutchinson injury, this would be a massive statement win in the NFC. For me, because the Niners have not looked like a Super Bowl team at all.
Yeah.
And so I think this would be just a sea change midway through the season.
Interesting. Yeah, I get it. Without McCaffrey, it's, looked different. You had other injuries earlier in the season. Brandon Ayuk getting his legs under him. I think there were a lot of excuses we could point to the 49ers and say, oh, this is why they lost. They're really going to be, we haven't even seen the true 49ers as, when they're fully constituted. It's not that I'm saying this game doesn't mean anything. Maybe mentally for Kyle Shanahan, if he can finally beat Andy Reid, if he can, show that they don't have this Super Bowl hangover of losing last year, I guess. But Perloff, you're telling me that if these two teams end up meeting again in the Super Bowl, and I'm not trying to fast forward through the season, but if they met in the Super Bowl, this game would be meaningless. There's nothing about this game that would matter if there is a rematch.
Absolutely. But have you seen anything this season that indicates the 49ers look like a Super Bowl team?
The one thing about the 49ers is I'm looking around at the rest of the NFC, and while I think that it's not as top-heavy last year, I'm looking at, a wide-open conference.
Yeah.
Unless you just want to pencil everybody or three teams in the NFC North into, some big spots. I get it. But Cowboys, your Eagles don't look good.
Yeah. No,
Commanders are unproven. The NFC South, can I get a big old dose of wait and see on all of those teams? And then the 49ers, Seattle, they just lost, to the 49ers. The Rams are decimated. The Cardinals you can't trust. So the reason why I feel like the 49ers are in a good spot is because I think there's a lot of frauds in the NFC.
I understand what you're saying. I don't think, first of all, did you say the Bucs? The Bucs are interesting.
The Bucs are interesting, but again,
it's going to run through the NFC North this year.
I thought more people thought the Falcons were going to be interesting, but no. The NFC South. So if I'm the 49ers, I guess winning this game is good because you're 3-3 and you want to, I guess, get a measure of revenge. But you're telling me in a big game, if I could have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes or Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy, I'm not getting fooled again, is basically what I would say.
Well, you're saying in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Super Bowl.
Yeah, but honestly, I'm sorry, San Francisco, they're 3-3 right now. Like, this is not like we're organizing to face Andy Reid in the Super Bowl again. Like, they need to make the playoffs.
They will make the playoffs.
They've looked pretty bad. Like they beat Seattle. Even that game, Seattle was a mash unit. Nobody was healthy on that defense, and they still made it a game. I don't know. The Niners are not the same team this year.
Do you think if the Niners win this game and they do beat Andy Reid coming off a bye, and they do beat Patrick Mahomes as as Mahomes as an underdog, do you think this changes the season for them? Is this a turning point for them?
Yeah, if they lose this game, which the numbers say there's a great chance it will happen. Sorry, Mahomes, it turns out, is 10-3 straight up as an underdog, a betting underdog, and he always covers. So if they actually lose this game, they go to 3-4. That's not good. It's very rare. Show me a 3-4 team that's won the Super Bowl.
I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah, I have no idea if that number exists, but it's not. It's very not common. It's definitely a bad sign. Like then it's panic time. And if their defense doesn't hold up against a Kansas City offense, it's been kind of mid this year. I mean, what are we talking about here? I don't think people are going to be talking about the Niners as a contender anymore.
Maybe the 49ers are one of those fraud NFC teams. Let's hear from Kyle Shanahan. Ryan, how about cut 6? Here's Shanahan speaking to the media yesterday on his previous history with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think everyone understands that we've lost 2 Super Bowls to them. So, I mean, that can give a little post-traumatic stress when you turn on the tape, but I think that's human nature. But you got to make sure you don't get caught up in that. You know, this game has nothing to do with past games. That was last year. We're playing a really good AFC opponent. We're 500 right now. We want to stay atop of our division and get a win. You think about that stuff going into it, but in terms of what it plays out in a game, it really has no correlation, and you try to make sure that it doesn't.
Is he telling the truth?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'll be totally honest. I think the Niners have way bigger problems in this game. Like, yeah, I think this is a game to them. Like, they need to figure out so many different things right now because the injuries are a big problem. The defense is a big problem. So I kind of believe him there, but like every game is important right now.
Very interesting. You know, it's funny. I'm not getting the sky is falling on the brink of panic from the 49ers maybe that you are. Like if they lose this game they're going to go under 500 and what does that say? They're going to win the division. It's breaking so right for them. I thought the Seahawks were going to I picked the Rams actually, I guess, to win the division. I thought the Seahawks would also be a playoff team. And I was totally wrong. The Rams are completely decimated. People are talking about maybe, is there a way to trade Matthew Stafford? I mean, everything is on the table. I don't think that will happen, but everything's on the table. And I don't trust Kyle Shanahan in a big game, but I trust him to get this season on track. I trust him, after this, they're going to play the Cowboys. The Cowboys will be coming off a bye. So you're going to have back-to-back teams who are coming off of a bye. Cowboys are going to be way more desperate. I'm still taking the 49ers in that game. Then they're at the Bucs, which is probably not a walkover game. As you said, they have to come to Buffalo to play my Bills. I just don't see this as I think they've earned a little bit of our trust. There are other teams that have not earned our trust. I think the 49ers have.
Do you trust that George Kittle is going to be upright throughout the entire game?
I do not.
Do you trust that? Do you know? Okay, so I don't know who's starting. Do you trust that the 6th-string running back? Like, do you trust him without McCaffrey? I think that's a real important question.
Yeah, because I think I've watched Jordan Mason run, and I know they've been...
He cost them a game.
Okay, I get it. Yeah. Fumble. But here's the thing. Running game and Kyle Shanahan, I'm okay with it. Running game and Mike McCarthy, clearly that's not okay. Clearly that's not... You needed to have a better running back in there.
It's a good point.
Kyle Shanahan, I got a 99 problems. Running back's not one.
Running back in the red zone, though, has been one.
Yeah, I get it, the red zone offense, but I guess I'm watching the Jets' red zone offense be bad. Can that be fixed? I was watching, before they went on a little bit of a run here, I was watching the Baltimore Ravens' red zone offense not be good. I think those are things that can be corrected as the season goes on. That's why you have so many weapons.
My big concern with the 49ers is, their offense is pretty awesome, but the defense every year seems to take about, it goes down 5 slots in total. Now they're at 11. They were consistently number 1 when D'Amico Ryans and Robert Saleh were there. Then last year they fell to 8. That was a big problem. Now they're falling even further. Like, Fred Warner's getting a little old.
Oh, he's still amazing.
Getting a little old. Like, watch him in coverage. Like, if you get a tight end on him, that's not what it used to be.
He still scares me. This is good news then for the 49ers because Robert Saleh, I watched a video of him, TMZ style, walking out of a Whole Foods in New Jersey somewhere. He got the beard going. Certainly looks like somebody who's been wallowing a little bit, and maybe they get him out there.
Yeah, I honestly...
At least to consult.
I look at the Chiefs like this is almost a get-right offensively game because the Niners can't pressure the quarterback anymore. Who on the Niners besides Nick Bosa has even sniffed a quarterback this season? So... Yeah, I think the Niners, we have totally different expectations for the Niners. Now I'm like, win this game and make sure you're on line for playoff. The Seahawks get all their players back. They're a threat. Like everybody's coming back for them. They'll have a whole new team by the second half of the season.
Man, I'm curious if 49er fans are feeling this level of like anxiety. I get it. You lost twice to the Chiefs, but that means nothing, unfortunately.
Yeah. But this season, this is a big loss. This would be bad.
You think this is the litmus test, like one of them?
Yeah, I feel like,
litmus test?
yes, I do. I feel like we're going to come away from this game and say either the Niners are the team to beat in the NFC or the Niners are in a bad spot. Like, they need to win this game. And the problem with that is you have Andy Reid off a bye.
Bad. Maybe, Ryan, there's some kind of poll question of if the 49ers lose this game, ... Would the sky be falling? Not to me. It's funny. Normally, I jump on the 49ers, and I don't give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm always bringing up the fact that Purdy's not a real MVP candidate, and the Kyle Shanahan blows 10-point leads. But you and I have totally flipped on this morning. I'm not worried about them.
It's so funny because on yesterday's show, you said the 2-4 Jets really should be thinking Super Bowl. I was like, they're 2-4. I couldn't wrap my head around the record. And if the Niners fall to 3-4, that's not good.
I know their schedule is not easy.
Yeah.
But
that means they'd have to get hot at the end of the season and rub, which is a formula that works too. It just feels like, I don't know. You watch them, even the Seahawks game, like this is not the same team as last year. It doesn't feel like the Super Bowl team. But I think it's because McCaffrey's not there. So if McCaffrey comes back, is he Christian McCaffrey?
Well, that's a great question, too. 855-212-4227. Get it going with the 49ers this morning in this big game this weekend. Again, if you're going to rank games of the weekend, I think I got to go college. Texas, Georgia is number 1. I think this one's probably 2 for me. Steelers, Jets, maybe 3. Miami, Louisville, 4. I'm sorry. I've got Alabama, Tennessee. It's the third Saturday in October.
You say that, but the rate, 30 million people are going to be watching this game. So it's definitely going to be the biggest watch game of the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in terms of juiciness.
Yeah, but I
power rank these games.
I'll be honest, I don't love comparing college and pro football because they're totally different buckets. That's like saying a hot NBA game. But power rank these games like, yeah, of course. I guess Texas, Georgia's more impactful, except with the 12-team playoff. Is it really, though? Georgia kind of has to get the win, but if Georgia gets 2 losses, they're in.
That's true, but now they're on a razor's edge.
They're on a razor's edge, but they probably won't be in the SEC title game, so they'll probably be able to run the rest of that schedule. They'll get Alabama and Texas out of the way. So you could almost argue that this is an interesting test of the new college football world. Yeah, where you're right. It's an NFL game. It's week 7. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. Really. That's what I'm saying. I think I'd have to put Georgia. I'd put Georgia, Texas number 1 as far as power ranking games of the weekend.
Yeah.
Then I would probably go. I might go to Alabama, Tennessee 2, and then maybe I'd go to San Francisco, Kansas City 3, and then Jets, Pittsburgh 4. Then I'm probably going Miami, Louisville.
Yeah, but one thing though, just keep in mind though, like more eyeballs will be on this Niners-Chiefs game than any game by a mile. So 4:30 window of Fox. So I do think I hear what you're saying, but you can't really compare Saturday games and Sunday games because Sunday games are just a bigger deal.
I guess the real answer is probably Liberty Links. 855-212-4227. Kidding. We should talk about that, though. What an ending to that game. Bogusch is going to come in with some highlights. I'm sure he's going to have the Sabrina Ionescu game winner, basically a logo 3 for the Liberty to take a 2-1 lead. We got a lot on the plate this morning. 855-212-4227. Fill in the blank for us. If the 49ers lose to the Chiefs, ... are you panicking? I'm calm. I'm cool. I think there's a lot of fraud teams in the NFC. I would not be worried if I'm the 49ers. Sky's not falling to me if they lose. You're a little more panicked.
Yeah, wait, I'm curious. Who are the fraud teams? Like, do you think the 3 favorites, the Packers, Vikings, Lions, which one's the fraud? All 3?
I think your team's a fraud team. I think
with the Eagles.
I think the Eagles.
The Eagles they'll be super lucky to make a wild card game.
Right. So I'm saying the Eagles. I think the Cowboys are a fraud team. I don't know anything about the Commanders.
The Commanders are maybe, but give me the winning teams. Like the 3 powerhouses are Detroit,
right? The NFC
Green
North.
Bay, and Minnesota. Yeah, so I'm curious.
I don't know about the Bears. I'm not willing to say that they're going to be a really dangerous playoff team, but I do like their defense. The whole NFC South, I said I'm a huge wait and see on both Tampa and the Falcons. Yeah. And the NFC West, besides San Francisco, unless Seattle's really going to step up here, it's falling apart around the 49ers. You just beat Seattle. Rams, who's playing for the Rams?
Cup's practicing again.
Okay. And Arizona is plucky, but I like them to backdoor cover. I don't like them in any other situation.
Arizona is terrible. I feel like they're a top 10 drafting team for sure. But, you got 3 real teams to worry about if you're the Niners.
And what happened last year when they played the Detroit Lions?
They got super lucky.
Well, or they played much better in the second half. And Dan Campbell blew the game.
No, there was a butterfly from heaven came down.
On Brandon Ayuk's catch.
Super lucky. If Jahmyr Gibbs didn't fumble and Josh Reynolds could catch a ball, then the Lions easily win that game.
No doubt.
And the question is, what's Hutchinson got in? The only thing that's saving the Niners, there's no way they're beating this year's Lions with Hutchinson. I think. I mean, the Niners have clearly taken a step back. You can't argue against that.
They do not look like the same team as last year, but if there's one team I wouldn't start panicking about, it would be the 49ers. I think they have earned the benefit of the doubt. 855-212-4227. All right, we're just getting going here, 49ers. Let us know your thoughts. Coming up next, we've got lots more to do, including tons of college today. Dianna Russini is going to join us later on in the show to get all the gritty details about what was going on with Jerry Jones earlier this week. So much to do. It's Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Ethos Life, the easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam and just a few health questions. Get your free quote at checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. Maggie, I was a warrior last night, a remote warrior.
TV remote.
TV remote warrior. Yeah. And this is a consistent complaint I have as a sports fan. I was navigating in and out of the streaming world and live sports simultaneously. Between innings, so I watched the baseball game.
Yeah.
Your Mets against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Between innings, we'd go back to the Aaron Hernandez show on Hulu.
Oh, that's funny because I was like, were there any sports that were streaming last night?
No,
Okay.
but this is sports.
Okay.
The Aaron Hernandez show on Hulu is...
It looks so cheesy.
It looks so cheesy. Like, it is dark. Oh, my God.
Well, the story's kind of dark, bro. It's not exactly sunshine and rainbows with that story.
And then I got back for the end of the Liberty Lynx game, which was unbelievable. So it was a very full night. Stayed up a little too late watching the Aaron Hernandez thing, to be honest.
So I heard Rob Gronkowski, if you guys haven't seen this, it's like this super over dramatized.
Right.
Recount.
It's on FX, which has done this other thing. They did a similar fictional recount of the OJ murder. It's a little bit like the Menendez brothers murder. So it's a over-the-top sort of drama. Yeah. And is so cheesy. But then you actually, like, they don't, it's really kind of sad, too.
Absolutely. That is one of our biggest tragedies we've ever had in sports.
I had a long discussion last night with our friend Sully, good friend of the show.
Love Sully.
Deep ties to the New England Patriots organization. We were talking about, you know what the main problem with Aaron Hernandez was? He couldn't stop killing people.
Yeah. That was it.
Yeah, the documentary.
It wasn't him on third down. That's funny. I thought you were going to say.
The movie brings that home. Like, he keeps on shooting people as one of his main problems.
Yeah, it's weird because you don't want to say this lightly, but like the guy was like a serial killer. I think that it falls under that definition. He's a legitimate psychopath. He was also maybe a drug addict and all these other things.
I don't know if he was a serial killer. It kind of implied that the drugs and the concussions made him so foggy upstairs he didn't know what he was doing. So they play the concussions. They play a lot about his sexuality. That's a huge theme. That was a big part of his life. Anyway,
closeted or something, dealing with
all
that.
All that being said, okay, that's all very serious stuff. The football scenes are so laughable, and the guy who plays Bill Belichick is so funny that I couldn't put this down, Maggie. It is like, once you get into this, it's really hard to put away, especially somebody like we came up being huge, like really into the NFL. Like we were at Foxborough for those games. Like, this is our era, and to see it fictionalized is, you have to watch it.
I saw a couple clips, one of like Bill Belichick, I think in his office with the door shut, doing some kind of like Phil Collins drum.
Yeah. No, he's listening to John Bon Jovi.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, he was listening he was jamming out to John Bon Jovi.
Halfway there.
Yeah,
living out a prayer.
There's a scene where the guy who's playing Aaron Hernandez is running a 40, getting ready for the combine. And Maggie, I've seen you run a 40. You have way better form than the actor. It's a major problem in sports movies. You have to have athletic actors, and the actor's actually really quite good. but he's not athletic enough.
It will kill a movie.
Yeah.
It
They're
absolutely
theater
will.
kids.
What's that?
They grew up theater kids, so they're not playing football.
I know. So it's funny. The guy who plays Gronk, I heard Gronk on our friend Kay Adams'
Yeah, I
show,
saw that interview too.
saying that he's actually Gronk's stunt double for all his commercials and stuff.
I don't know if this is true. I also heard that the guy who plays Gronk this might be totally me being lied to by the internet, is going to play Travis Kelce in the Hallmark Travis Kelce Taylor Swift too.
Bodie's just here now. He's like just pointing and nodding and
Did you tell me that?
gesturing
I
wildly.
didn't tell you. I saw the same thing. I think that they were discussing this on Up and Adams. That's who posted the clip, I think, of them and Gronk said, yeah, something about like I'm too buff, or the guy had to change his body to go from Gronk to Kelce. That was the joke.
Yeah, very funny. Is that this is not I don't mean this as the insult that it's going to come off as, okay? Is that guy handsome enough to play Kelce?
I had the same thought. I'm like, he's a perfect Gronk, but he doesn't have the facial structure to play Kelce.
Well, also, if you're going to snag a pop star, there's a reason. I mean, listen, Gronk's fiance, I don't know if him and Camille
Cossack, yeah.
He snagged a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model, so it's not like Gronk's doing bad for himself, and Camille is as sweet as they come and beautiful. But I don't know. Don't you need the Travis Kelce look to grab a Taylor Swift?
Didn't she date some nerdy actor guy before Travis Kelce? Like, you don't have to be that good looking to get Taylor Swift. I mean, honestly, you just need to be either an athlete or an indie rock star. She's dated normal looking guys. Anyway, besides the point, this is an important conversation here. You're right. I had the same thought. Like, that guy's not chiseled enough to play Travis Kelce. He looks more like Gronk.
Well, also, doesn't the Hallmark Channel kind of have a look? Is it the
Yeah,
Gronk
I
look?
think I know what you mean.
Generic.
I think just sort of generic, but you got to be like at least an 8.
but
And
you
probably a
can't-
10 in real life.
No, but you can't really be a 10 on the Hallmark Channel.
You can't?
No, they don't. Yeah.
You watch more of the Hallmark Channel than I do. We completely switch like traditional gender
No,
norms
no.
with this one.
By an infinite amount, 1 to 0.
I know. I've always been to the Hallmark Channel. Yeah, you can't be a 10 on the Hallmark Channel. That's like that's not going to play to the Hallmark audience.
Mario Lopez disagrees.
Oh, is he on Hallmark?
I think he's in one recently, yeah.
Yeah. No, you're not going
Now,
to be.
Slater's a 10. AC Slater.
Yeah, maybe back in 1989.
Wow, that's
yeah,
I
I just don't think
in
like
time in my mind.
Yeah, there's a formula for Hallmark movies, and it's definitely like you're right. It's sort of like a guy who was like big and sort of maybe possibly A or B list 23 years ago.
Got it.
It's sort of an older network. It skews a bit older. You're like, wait, that was a dad in a sitcom in 1996. That's
Can
who
I
was
go
on those
back
movies.
to needing to have good athletes in sports movies to make it believable? Don't you find that sometimes the sports movies, the guys are terrible athletes, but they're trying to pretend that they're good? Yet, give me any deodorant commercial, like tough acting, tenactin, and I feel like the sports in those commercials is pretty believable. Like, I feel like the athletes who are in these, commercials that are selling products to men, I feel like
You mean
those
like the
guys
guy,
aren't bad.
the guy in the Viagra commercial who throws a football through the tire?
Yeah, that guy.
They're usually former NFL players.
Is that right?
Like selling the pants, like Levi jeans. Like those are like half the time former copper stone knee brace.
You're right. They did have Brett Favre there for a while.
I mean,
so
like
it got problematic.
I will say there's some actors who look like Kevin Costner and Bull Durham,
Charlie Sheen.
I think Robert Redford in The Natural had a beautiful swing. Like, I think it's important to have like the athleticism. I didn't think that Tim Robbins was great in Bull Durham. Like, he looked like he didn't really know how to throw a baseball. You know who's really good? Always the hockey guys. Any hockey movie, those guys could skate. Paul Newman was fire
Well,
in
I think
Slapshot.
it's way easier to do stunt doubles for all that stuff. Well, maybe not Paul Newman because they weren't wearing helmets back then, but
Yeah, no.
hockey players, like, you think all those Mighty Ducks kids were actually skating around? No shot.
Yes.
Wait, what? They weren't?
I said,
You know
hate to
who,
burst your bubble, Botcher.
You know who's actually a really good athlete? Wyatt Russell, Kurt Russell's son. He was a professional hockey player for 4 years, so he's got a great hockey movie. And big fan of him. I do think like they really should have focused more on the athleticism in the Aaron Hernandez. It's a big problem. Like, it distracts you from the rest of the movie.
I can
Distracts you
imagine.
from the murder.
What's that?
It really takes you away from the murder.
Which one? They haven't shown the big murder yet. They just showed
that's
he
later.
shot his best friend in the face. They showed that. They showed
That was
him.
in Florida?
Yeah, in Florida. That was very disturbing. He tried, and then they showed the Boston murder. They haven't gotten to the murder that eventually got him arrested.
That was also in Boston, right?
Yeah, and the funny thing is they're trying to make it's one of those things where they try to make you empathize with Aaron Hernandez. So they say the concussions were a big part of it. I have a little trouble buying that.
Listen, that's tough because wasn't he also like smoking angel dust? And I don't know.
Yeah, but he came from a really, really, really bad place. There was
abuse.
Sexual abuse in the household with an uncle. There was a lot going on. This is again taking dark turn, but you, Maggie, I know the things you like. If you get into this show, you're going to be all in. Bogus, I think you would like it too.
I can't. I don't like. It's really hard for me to watch anything. Even like sports adjacent, because usually it's just so cheesy and bad, and the way you're breaking down his like the football scenes, no thank you.
So you don't watch sports movies?
I mean, I usually don't like them, so unless they get highly recommended, I'm not going to waste my time on them.
What about the one where Ed O'Neill played Donald Sterling of the Clippers? You guys watch that
I
one?
haven't seen that one yet.
No.
Darn it.
I watched one episode of that. That was okay.
Yeah, that's a good example.
That was okay. The basketball, again, was a problem. You know what movie? What about that show about the Lakers, Showtime, who had that
That show was good. I like that
was
one.
okay.
It was very arty, though. They really shot it in an artistic way. You know, they made it, it's almost like Friday Night Lights. Like they did something where it felt like it wasn't shot like a normal sports movie.
I thought that the guy who played Larry Bird was apparently a college basketball player, so he was good. The guy who played Dr. J was about Ryan Botcher's size. He was 5'4". I don't know.
The magic of the camera.
Yeah, I think we should form some sort of group to monitor the sports performances in sports movies. I think if Bogus isn't into them, that's why. Like, this is important stuff.
Maybe this is a new category for, like, the Oscars,
Best
the Golden
athlete.
Globes, like, best true athletic achievements.
I mean, you could go Spike Lee and cast guys like Ray Allen and Walter McCarty.
Yeah. I mean, Ray Allen was fine in that movie.
I thought he was really good for a non-professional actor. Are you a big fan of that movie?
I do like it. It's not something that I want to sit around and watch over and over again. But I can't actually think of any Spike Lee movie that I really sit around and watch over and over and over again.
Do the Right Thing.
Do the Right Thing's on TV a lot.
Yeah, that's outstanding. I mean, they're all good, but that one I've watched over and over again. You're right. They're once
long
you've seen one,
and they're
once you've seen one,
intense and
yeah.
But I mean, your movie was good because
Hustle,
you had real basketball players and real journalists like yourself in it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Why,
Yes,
how did
realism.
we go this long without getting to Hustle? Bo Cruz was great in that movie.
Well, because we were thinking of bad acting, like the basketball. You're right. Anthony Edwards and Bo Cruz. Bo Cruz. What's his real name again?
Juancho
Hernagomez. You forgot his name. You're in a scene with him.
I couldn't remember if it was Juancho or Willie. By the way, Juancho, is he in the NBA still?
I'm sure they'll find a spot for him.
He was he was hanging on to that Jazz roster for dear life.
There's plenty of bad teams out there.
Yeah, but no,
yes, Perloff, you were in a great basketball.
You're
movie.
right, and the basketball they worked really, really hard. Maggie and I went to the premiere, and they were talking about like all the work they put into making the basketball realistic. I think most shows are too lazy or don't have the money to do that.
One of the best things that Hustle did, I know we got to get to the updates, but was the shot. It was like camera underneath the court.
Yeah.
And it didn't end up being like a crotch shot. It ends up just being like how quickly they're moving their feet, and they get like that sound of the sneakers on the hardwood, which is just like, an aphrodisiac.
They shot that the day after my scene. They said, we're going to Germantown Academy, which is a school I know really well, and we're filming underneath the court. It was crazy. So
cool.
But that cost a lot of money. I'm looking at the list.
Sandler's got
There's
it.
ESPN did like a massive deep dive into which actors are the best athletes. We could get into it. Maybe we should bring this back later in the show. Everyone, is getting good reviews. Dottie Hinson.
Oh, Gina Davis.
Yeah, that she has some nice athleticism. I seem to remember. Yeah, the baseball was pretty good in that movie.
I mean, but Marla Hooch was clearly the best athlete on the field. But
Madonna, however, did not do anything.
Well,
she has other skills.
Yes, all the way Maye. Bogish has headlines.
He is still hitless in 22 at-bats with the bases empty this postseason, but when there's anyone on base...
The pitch is hit high in the air, right field, hooking toward the pole, and this ball is fair and gone. Shohei Ohtani unloads a 3-run home run here in the top of the 8th inning.
Steven Nelson on Dodgers radio. Ohtani's towering homer, the knockout punch in Game 3 of the NLCS. But exactly how far did it go?
That ball wouldn't have been out of a lot of parks.
Name one.
Yellowstone?
officially measured at just 397 feet. It was at least that high as well. It made it 7-0 top 8. The Dodgers beat the Mets 8-0 for a 2-1 series lead. Walker Buehler, 4 relievers combining for the shutout. LA's 4th in 5 games. Carlos Mendoza's Mets left 8 on base.
The guys that are in there got us to this point, and I'm pretty confident that they'll come true.
It'd be nice to get a hit or two, starting with game 4.
Who got the Shohei home run in our home run contest? Is that EJ?
I think it's EJ.
Yep.
Yeah.
Game 4 is 8 Eastern tonight. The Yankees and Guardians get back on the field at 5. They're in Cleveland with New York leading 2-0. The NCAA has closed the loophole that Oregon used to help close out Saturday night's win over Ohio State. Going forward, in the final 2 minutes of each half, if a 12th illegal defender actively participates in a play, the offense can choose to have the play clock reset to the snap in addition to the normal 5-yard penalty. If that extra defender is leaving the field at the snap, there is no clock adjustment.
Oh my God, how many coaches had this
ready to go
after Lanning pulled it on Ohio State?
I'm a little surprised. Doesn't the NCAA or college football move quite slow normally? Like, how did this happen in 3 days when it took them, 24 years to come up with NIL? Like, that was really fast.
Yeah, this didn't involve giving them money, giving up money. That was
But
why.
here's the thing, is there a
still rich.
competition committee? I guess it's not like that. It's not like the NFL.
They have some kind of council that oversees everything. So I guess they just called it emergency Zoom and figured this one
Somebody
out.
called Saban.
Give
What
them
do we do?
credit. That is really, really fast to change a rule.
Because I think what Maggie just said was going to be the problem, that everyone's going to be starting to do this and, fake acting and, where's that guy? And out he runs and he's in the play. So they had to act fast.
How about next? Can we get rid of fake injuries?
Good luck.
I know. It's just college football. It's so egregious.
Yeah.
The Saints and Broncos are playing tonight, but feel free to do anything else. Already down Derek Carr. New Orleans will play without injured receivers Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave. Shaheed is having potentially season-ending knee surgery today in L.A. Taysom Hill is doubtful with a rib injury. The New York Liberty are 1 win away from their first WNBA title after a thrilling 80-77 win in Minnesota for a 2-1 lead on the Lynx. Sabrina Ionescu with a 28-foot tie-breaking 3 with 1 second left. And hockey history last night in Pittsburgh.
Crosby to the front for Malkin. Save Maye. Rebound scores! Number 500 for Evgeny Malkin.
That's Brendan Burke on TNT. Malkin is the 48th player to score 500, and Sidney Crosby became the 10th ever with 1,600 career points. He had 2 assists, then the overtime winner. His Penguins 6, the Sabres 5. Guys, back to you.
How old is Sidney Crosby now?
And Malkin. They're both old.
Sidney's 37. So I have a question. Is he Sid the Kid? When did that end?
Didn't.
So he's still Sid the Kid at 37?
Yeah, Billy the Kid was always Billy the Kid.
No matter how many banks he robbed.
Right. He didn't grow out of that.
Yeah. I mean, a good rhyme is a good rhyme, right? You can't let that go.
Yeah, it can't be Sid the adult.
Sid the adult. Sid
the man.
Sid the octogenarian.
Sid's dad bod.
I was thinking about, something I'll ask you guys a little later in the show about older athletes and the milestones they hit. Get to that later. Bogus, thank you. 855-212-4227. Okay. Are we going to put up a poll question? Who's the greatest actor athlete?
Yes.
How do you want to do that? Because I'm seeing in the chat a little Warren Beatty from Dilbo.
Yes. Warren Beatty was a good athlete.
Also, Mark Wahlberg.
Wahlberg and what?
Well, he was in The Fighter.
A football movie, too.
Yeah, and also, too, I
Vince
think he
Papale
shoots basket. Oh, he's in Basketball Diaries with Leonardo DiCaprio.
He's in that movie?
Yeah, I think he's DiCaprio's best friend. And DiCaprio was okay at basketball, but he got much better later in life. I heard he played pickup all the time.
Good grief. Out of all the things from that very impactful movie, the basketball is the last thing I actually remember.
Basketball Diaries?
Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh.
I actually went back to see because I was curious if those guys could ball at all. It was, the guy he played was great, Jim Carroll. Anyway, what about the fighter guys like Karate Kid, Apollo Creed?
Stallone.
Stallone, do those guys count as Stallone's pretty good.
I wasn't thinking about the boxing MMA part. I was thinking more of the baseball, football, basketball variety.
Okay, one, by the way, someone in ESPN says Happy Gilmore actually influenced several pro golfers with his driving style.
Bryson DeChambeau.
There's a note in here that says, I think Pedrick Harrington's drive increased by 7% by copying Happy Gilmore.
What, did he start taking a crow hop? I don't remember that.
He had a mentor with one hand.
855-212-4227. I can't wait for Happy Gilmore too.
So actually,
I like comedy sequels. Unlike you, no fun losers.
I'm realizing the list I'm looking at is evaluating how good the actual fictional players were, because Teen Wolf is not a 2-seed in this bracket.
That's some good basketball.
Dude, I'd be talking about PEDs. The guy was a werewolf.
Does Air Bud count?
Air Bud.
Yeah, the werewolf is
no
counting.
humans only.
What's a werewolf?
He's still human when it's not a full moon.
He's not good at basketball then.
And when he gets agitated.
And by the way, even Michael J. Fox, even as a werewolf, wasn't that good. Like, they clearly, they would cut away and he'd be flying in midair, and then they'd cut back to...
Well, whoever was his stunt double was just yamming on guys. It was like the Phoenix Suns gorilla.
But you could tell
there.
it was like a 6-foot basket. Yeah, I hear you. You're right. This is going to take over. I'm into it.
Who's the greatest athlete actor? Got a couple good ones there. 855-212-4227. Coming up, we got some old faces, new places. Get to that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome on the show. Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff.
I'm a big news fan, not as much on the Huey Lewis.
Get out of here. Dan is in California, wants to talk about his Niners. We have a question for you out there on X at Maggie and Pearl. If the Niners lose to the Chiefs, is it time to panic? Dan, what do you say?
Well, I've been a Niners fan since 1970, so I'm going to say no. And mainly because their division is so weak this year. I mean, they took care of Seattle. Next time they have Seattle at home. The Rams are lousy. Arizona is who knows what. So, but I did want to answer the poll about the athlete.
Yeah, who is the best actor who's also an athlete, or vice versa?
Mark Wahlberg in Invincible, when he was trying to make the Eagles team as a civilian. Dick Vermeil's Eagles team in late 70s, early 80s. I don't know.
Yeah, the Vince Papale story. Perloff's very, very familiar with this.
Wait,
it's from his hometown.
Dan, why did he impress you? He was more of a special teams guy. He was all effort.
Yeah, but, his running, when they were out in that rainstorm and stuff, he just looked like an athlete out there, a true athlete,
And he was good in The Fighter. Dan, thank you. I'm saying that right? The movie was called The Fighter.
With Christian Bale was his brother.
Yeah, not The Boxer. I think it was called The Fighter.
I think it was called. Certain actors are good runners. Obviously, most famously,
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Nobody runs like
that's
Cruise.
A cliche that Tom Cruise is a great runner, but you actually watch, like, wow, that was entertaining to watch him run.
I think it's Brian. Can you look this up? Is it in some kind of clause or contract that Tom Cruise gets a running scene in every movie he's in?
Probably.
I don't know about the ones like Vanilla Sky and some of the artier things he did, but I think he's still running in those movies.
I'm already getting some feedback on social media about the actors. Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes in White Men Can't Jump. Woody could play. That's why he got the role.
Yeah.
Wesley was kind of tough to watch. They had to shoot around him because he clearly was more of an actor, less of a basketball player.
Definitely, but he had that good sort of hanging the hand up in the air after making a shot that made you believe that he actually swished.
He was great in that movie. I got somebody wanted to point out that Rudy was offsides on the sack.
So here's the thing about I think Sean Austin, who is going to play a football player and a hobbit. I mean, that's a lot of range.
But the person who said that was J.P. Shadrick, who calls the Jaguars games. So,
nice. Hi.
I don't know. I get it, but I think the athleticism in that movie was interesting. Because Vince Vaughn was the star running back.
Yeah,
he's
too
pretty
tall.
good.
Too tall to be running back.
Too tall running back.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get a realism, you and I have talked about this a lot. The Kevin Costner movie Draft Day, like his draft strategy was just awful for modern football.
Well, but that's not athleticism. But no, you want to get into the philosophy of it. Terrible.
Yeah, taking a non-pass rushing linebacker number 1 overall, never would do that. That a running back at 7. Hello.
However, I kind of ascribe to the theory that if nobody shows up at the quarterback's birthday, then that probably is a red flag.
Well, that's just sports science.
Yeah. I mean, it's up there with fourth down analytics.
I don't know
if
if we're ever going to do like a rule book of sports, but number one thing you look at a quarterback is who attends the birthday party.
Well, and just are you even a captain? If you're not a captain.
Yeah. But nowadays it's like,
quarterback?
it's not did he attend your birthday party? Was he in attendance at your rap concert?
Oh, for Shador, right. Was that team mandated?
Yeah, was it? Kevin Costner getting some love, too. He's a good athlete.
Definitely. I think Charlie Sheen is another one. Charlie
Was Sheen
Sheen
good? I can't even remember that.
As Wild Thing? Definitely. That was very believable.
All right, California Penal League.
All right, so who's the best? It's actor who was playing something athletic, not athlete who's an actor. Like if you're, if Travis Kelce becomes a movie star, that doesn't count for what we're talking about. Howie Long, that's not what we're talking about.
But you most likely will do adventure movies. Like you will not. Howie Long didn't play a defensive end in a movie.
Probably
That'd be too easy. The Longest Yard, Michael Irvin played a football player.
Right. See,
he was really good in that.
Not talking about Ray Allen playing a basketball player. That was obvious. Right. We're talking about the actors who actually were good enough at sports to convince us. Right. Not Shaquille O'Neal and Blue Chips. We got it. You can really don't.
Because it bothers me because the only thing that's keeping this Aaron Hernandez movie on Hulu from being perfect, or FX, is the actor is just not fast enough.
Speaking of TV and entertainment, you know what I started yesterday when I was on the treadmill?
What'd you get?
Starting Five.
Oh,
the NBA Netflix documentary that's following LeBron, Anthony Edwards, Domantas Sabonis, Jason Tatum, and Jimmy Butler.
So did you do I've done episode 1.
I did episode 1, and I'd love to know your biggest takeaway and then my biggest takeaway.
LeBron's house seems like that's where I want to be. That was my takeaway. I'm like, this is a Perloff style house. They are.
Well, all the cars? Like, what about it?
Well, I mean, the opening scene is them getting ready for Halloween, which is my favorite holiday, just like LeBron. And they are it's just like, what is it? It's like a gigantic party all the time. There's like makeup people floating around. It's just his mom is there in every scene. His family's there in every scene. It does feel like a warm household. That's what struck me about the movie.
Yeah, it did. I mean, listen, it's a documentary that he's got some control over.
Of course. I'm
somebody to use your own coffee maker for you. Like, you're not going to Starbucks, picking it up, and then bringing it by. That's a DoorDash. You don't need someone on staff for that.
Is he making, like, images on top of the coffee?
Yeah.
That's the real question.
Yeah, so Jimmy Butler can make a leaf. Looks pretty good.
That was great. I was wildly impressed by that.
You're not impressed, right?
That's the default one. If you're actually caring about learning how to do that, that's like the most basic one you can learn.
You gotta walk before you can run. But he's got literally a dude on staff because he's drinking like 10 cups of coffee a day, and they all have to be like barista quality.
Well, how did Ryan know that making it? Have you done that? No, I did not know that. I was wildly impressed by Jimmy Butler putting a leaf on top of his cappuccino.
When you see someone do like a coffee, that's like the most basic design. Like they swirl it and make the leaf, like kind of like clover.
Yeah.
Oh, you weren't impressed by LeBron getting in full Beetlejuice makeup and reciting the entire movie?
It's crazy to me. It's like,
and if LeBron, by the way, did admit it. He goes, people think I lie about everything. This I'm not lying about. I really do like horror movies. Kind of acknowledging that he does lie about everything.
Yes, no, you could tell LeBron is all in on this. And I thought Beetlejuice is a great movie. Is it anyone's favorite movie?
I think that's an interesting point. You're right. Like everybody kind of likes it. It is. I don't know why he just glommed onto that movie.
Like, this is your favorite movie of all time, is Michael Keaton's Beetlejuice. I mean, it's a great movie, but are you watching that once a week? Anyway, D is in Oregon. D, who's the best actor who had to play an athlete?
2000 movie, The Replacements.
Yep.
Keanu Reeves as Joe Falco.
Yeah. Keanu Reeves is good.
Shane Falco.
Yeah.
And I also think the coach, Gene Hackman, I think he did a pretty good job coaching it as well. So, thank you guys.
Thank you, D. He was believable as a coach.
Keanu Reeves also played Johnny Utah.
I was going to say, he can serve.
Former Ohio State star.
Right. That he was in the movie, right?
There was a football scene where I think Keanu held himself up pretty well. Actually, the Keanu, whatever guy, an actor is surfing on camera, Maggie, that's a body double.
You don't think that was really Keanu Reeves?
No. For the really hard ones, no.
Oh, man.
I mean, he's from Canada. No, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, my daughter's watching this show called Outer Banks. I'm sure Ryan's into it as a young. They have all these incredible surfing scenes, and there is no way the actors are actually on surfboards.
Well, they're all not Keanu Reeves. You know?
Keanu's from Toronto. You think he's a surfer?
I'll buy it. He's also trained actor. 855-212-4227. Keep them coming. Coming up, we got a big reunion happening tonight. We'll get to it next.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Well, not exactly a barn burner tonight, Thursday Night Football, but that doesn't mean there's no interesting storylines. And actually, the biggest one, Perloff, has to do maybe with the head coach. Denver Broncos go to New Orleans tonight, so this is a Sean Payton homecoming, a place where he won a Super Bowl, a place where he was for 15 years with the New Orleans Saints, put together a record of 152 and 89. I mean, unbelievable career on the way to the Hall of Fame. But now with Denver, the record's 11 and 12. It's been terrible. Has he been a disappointment to you in Denver?
And that 11-12 is a pure function of how terrible his division has been. Last year, everybody on the Chargers got hurt. The Raiders obviously stink. It's been terrible because he's an offensive genius, right? Like one of the all-time great offensive geniuses. Currently, they rank 28th in total offense, and honestly, that's generous only because teams have let them move the ball at the end and prevent defenses. He basically didn't score for 3.5 quarters at home against the Chargers, who are not the 85 Bears.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised. I was like, wait, is this Chargers defense that good? No, they're just that bad on offense. The other thing about Sean Payton, I forgot the terms of the trade. Like, they gave up a first and a second.
Yeah.
And they in the third in exchange, but it's crazy. He's the highest paid coach in the sport. They gave up a first-round pick for him, and their offense is terrible. Now, listen, all their cap money is dedicated to Russell Wilson. So they have a built-in excuse, and Bo Nix is a rookie. Still, I just can't – just the ugliness of it, even if they have a good record, where's the offense, man?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there have been some high points. I don't want to say it's all been terrible. They went into Buffalo and beat the Bills. It forced the Bills to fire their offensive coordinator. I came in here wearing a Bills t-shirt with a big red X through it. I mean, that one almost put me over the edge. And then they just went and beat the New York Jets, who until that point we thought actually might be a pretty good team.
That was the single worst offensive game I've ever seen in my life.
Well, the quarterback had negative passing yards in the first half, but again, I think that's why you almost have to credit Sean Payton even more with that win, because that win was like a neck-up win. There was terrible.
That was 100% on the Jets.
And also it was on the Jets. But here's the thing. This is the thing about Sean Payton. He came in there as like the savior. First thing he does is basically say Nathaniel Hackett did the worst job of all time, which he might not be wrong about, and essentially put a lot of the blame on Russell Wilson. And got his wish, got him out of town, and now he has Bo Nix. And this whole thing to me is predicated on whether or not Bo Nix ends up being good. And right now, we don't definitively know. We don't definitively know whether he's going to be a good quarterback because it's way too early. We've seen some good and bad. He will most likely, to me, get at least 2 more years minimum to show that he and Bo Nix can make it work.
Oh, he's on Sean Payton. Yeah, I mean, he's under this massive contract. Also, the funny thing is they're probably going to they have a chance to make the playoffs because their schedule is such a joke. Like they have New Orleans doesn't have anybody. They're putting up a practice squad on national TV tonight. So that is an easy win. And then they have Carolina next. They'll probably be 5-3. Maybe not. I mean, who knows? But 5-3, and then they're at a good spot to make a run. But do you want Sean Payton to keep winning games like 16-14? Like, why is Sean Payton there if he's not going to have an electric offense?
Well, I mean, because I don't know if they have the quarterback right now to have an electric offense, I guess would be number one. And two, they spent a lot of money in free agency, and I don't think a lot of those guys are panning out as well as they thought.
2 years ago, right.
2 years ago, right.
Right. But I think, isn't their entire cap going to Russell Wilson?
A lot of it, they took the biggest dead cap hit in the history of the NFL.
So I think he gets a full pass on that. I don't know what's going on here. I feel like you should scheme up some more points than what they got going on. I mean, honestly, what do you expect to see tonight aesthetically?
This is going to be brutal. I mean, thank God baseball's on. And are the Liberty playing tonight? And no, tomorrow night, the Lynx?
I mean, it'll still outrate both of those easily. But Amazon, it's hard to tell because you have to get out of cable.
Don't you think that going 8-9 last year was almost a minor miracle?
No, because it was the same kind of thing. It was just like, I don't know, the other quarterback was hurt and they found a way to score a late touchdown. Like, that's not, Sean Payton's not there to win close, low-scoring games. That's not like what he built his resume on. He built his resume on having this unstoppable offense. So, no, nothing about last year impressed me.
Interesting.
It impressed you, like which games?
Well, beating my Bills, I thought was pretty impressive. And at one point, they went on a run where they won 5 games in a row.
Yeah, because their competition, except for that Bills game, was generally not great.
I guess I don't really think about when I talk about, when I think about the NFL, to me, blowing teams out, yeah, we saw it last year with the Ravens were really good blowing teams out. The 49ers were really good blowing teams out. But those rosters, especially the 49ers, is so stacked. I'm not putting Denver in that category at all. Do you think that Sean Payton's offense has gotten stale?
His offense is awful. I mean, it's not even stale. Like right now, that offense is it's hard. Yeah, no, stale means like, oh, okay, like they're doing the same thing over and over again. They just cannot, until the last 5 minutes of a game when the team goes in a prevent, the other team, he can't move the ball at all. They had one good game against the Bucs. I don't know what happened there, but no, I think stale would be awesome if they could get to stale. They're 28th in the league in offense. The only teams behind them are the Patriots. I mean, come on. The Titans with Will Levis and the Cleveland Browns with Deshaun Watson having one of the worst statistical seasons in the history of the sport.
I wonder if there is even less of a grace period or whatever for some of the college quarterbacks who are coming out with 5 years of experience and 6 years of experience. Like we're watching the Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. Well, Caleb was really in a quote unquote like normal amount of time. But when you have guys like Bo Nix and you have guys like Daniels, they're just coming out way more polished. So do you not give the same, because you're not giving the same grace at all. It's like you have a head coach with a rookie quarterback and you're hanging in there. I think that's a W in itself, but you don't see it that way. Why? Because Jaden Daniels and CJ Stroud have been so good?
I feel like it looks exactly like last year when Russell Wilson was doing nothing and they would beat the Chargers like 17-13.
Right.
Honestly, like the strength is obviously the defense on that team. The defense by tenfold is the better part of that team, and that's just not at all what I expected. Even with Bo Nix, yeah, I expected more out of Bo Nix. He's older. He looked great in preseason. I just don't know. I don't know what they're doing offensively.
So they're 3-3 right now, but are they one of those 3-3 teams that feels like, hey, this thing could really seem like he was liking the Fox thing? But then a team with a new owner, the Walmart people, when they're throwing $20 million a year at you, how do you say no to that? You know, when you're 60 years old, all of a sudden someone's like, here's $100 million. Like, what? Or however much he got, 80? I mean, you don't turn that down. But how much did he want to come back?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a great question. I mean, he looks engaged. He's definitely like chewing guys out on the sideline. Well, here's a question. Will it be a success if he goes 9-8 and sneaks into the playoffs and obviously loses in the first round? Is that a successful season?
I think with a rookie quarterback, yes.
Okay.
I do. I think you still have to grade on a curve, even if Bo Nix was in college for a decade. 855-212-4227. So that's a little bit on Sean Payton. EJ is strolled in this morning. Alarm monster, gotcha, man. It comes for all of us.
Yeah, it was inevitable. It's like we talk about how great these tech billionaires are, but, Bezos, can I get a charger that works?
You're just blaming Bezos.
Yeah, blaming Jeff Bezos.
Tim Cook, can an iPhone last overnight and not go dead when it's your only alarm that sets off in the morning? Can that happen?
You got to get the backup alarm, dude. And this is we work crazy hours and we have to stay up late and we're all watching baseball now late and basketball. I can't sleep unless I have a second alarm that's in my bathroom that's battery operated and can plug in.
Ooh, I see. I don't have this. This is good information.
This is the safety net alarm.
I need this.
Yeah.
Pete was giving me, Pete has like a MacGyver like fail safe that he used to get in. He was telling me all this stuff as I'm texting as I'm getting in here.
Yeah. It's like a trap door that opens. You just fall under it, and you somehow end up in your socks and shoes and in a cab.
Yeah. You just all of a sudden like a big arm like in the arcade thing just pulls him right out of his bed and just drops him in his car to make sure he gets up.
It takes that kind of Herculean effort, but here's the thing: it's gonna come for all of us at some point.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna happen.
Now you got it in my head, Maggie. I feel like I'm gonna sleep
Coming
out
for you
tomorrow. Yeah, I don't have this backup battery, so it's like an old school clock.
Oh, and it's saved me a couple times already, and because I use my iPhone as well. And when that thing goes off, it might as well be like someone's sounding the alarm like there's an air raid. That thing is unmistakable. I'm always worried I'm gonna wake up my kid.
Yeah. Do you guys
sleeps down the hall?
So my kids are a little older, 12 and 14. So there's a competition for iPhone chargers like no other. My wife takes and we keep on buying new ones. She takes them into work and leaves them there every day. I'll throw my wife under the bus right there.
I was gonna say Sarah's not even here to defend herself.
And so that means like there's like 8 devices, 5 iPads. Everyone's got a phone now. So like those things are gold. And if it's kind of getting like 8 o'clock at night and my phone isn't charged and I have to set my alarm, I go into full panic mode.
Totally. So I think you and I had a similar thing that happened right before we took over the morning show. I was having like pre-anxiety about not waking up in time.
Sure.
And the Saturday night before our first Monday show, Saturday night, I woke up in a panic thinking I had already missed the first show. And I was in such a panic, and I like screamed so loudly that my husband, I woke him up out of a dead sleep, and even he thought it was Monday morning, and I missed the show.
Oh,
so
no.
I was like, it's funny. I'm like rushing around. I can't believe this happened. I was like, but I don't remember anything that happened in the NFL games.
Oh, yeah, football happens today, right?
Like, whatever happened in that Jets game? Well, I don't know. Anyway, comes for all of us. Perloff, you're next. I'm just kidding.
I guess I don't have the old school backup alarm. Now I have
you got to
do
get
that.
it. Amazon, $20.
I'm going to do that today.
Although if Bezos is on your bad list now.
Yeah, it's his charger that screwed me. That's why I'm annoyed. It just doesn't keep up with the model. I know, and I'm the dummy who's like, hey, let me use an Amazon charger for an iPhone. So maybe that's on me too. But still, like, you go up one model on the iPhone, it shouldn't screw up your charger as much as it screwed up me. And that's what happened today.
By the way,
it's all a big scam.
You're missing some important developments on the show. I'm learning more facts via social media because we put out who's the best actor athlete. Maggie, there's some things you're going to like in here.
Oh, the chat's giving us some just gold right now.
Yeah, I'll just tell you one. You're a huge fan of Charlie Sheen as Ricky Vaughn.
Yeah.
Apparently, according to TJ on Twitter, he was throwing mid-80s by the time the movie was over. Like, he could really throw it.
Oh, Perloff, he was just taking steroids. Like, he really committed.
Yeah.
He was roided up. Like, that is a commitment to the role.
Someone said Bernie Mac had an MLB hitting coach on set with him at all times for Mr. 3000. Is this true? Like, the length that these actors are going to have Keanu Reeves learn from, like, the number 3 surfer in the world for Point Break, and then went to UCLA to work on his football scene with the football team?
I mean, listen, you're an actor. You got time.
Yeah.
You know? Do
Yeah.
you not? Also, who do you think the hitting coach was? Who's the guy, Kevin, what's his face, who's been with every team?
Kevin Long.
Kevin Long.
Probably. But then you get controversial. Like, was Bill Murray good in Kingpin? I think people are just trying to be funny here.
As Big Earn? Sold me.
Yeah, did he have good form?
I thought so. We're going to find out he was working with Dick Weber.
Big Earn.
I mean, his toupee really stole the movie. Anyway, Kevin is in San Antonio. Kevin, the best actor athlete, who is it?
I think, good morning, everyone. I think Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds was in the longest yard, and he was a quarterback for Florida State.
I know. See, that's the thing, Kevin, about Burt Reynolds. Was he too good of an athlete to be considered in this discussion?
Yeah, I think he was a running back, wasn't he? Not a quarterback.
He played a quarterback, and I noticed that because I did some research on it. And he played a quarterback, and then all of a sudden he just blew up.
Yeah, and listen, it ended up working out for him. I mean, he's Smokey and the Bandit, right?
Right.
Kevin, thank you. Burt Reynolds is a great one. I'm thinking more about the guys who didn't play any sports to any esteem that we know about, right? Like, does anyone know if Keanu Reeves was actually maybe he was a high school athlete? Okay, so he's a high school player, but never any higher than high school.
I don't even know if he played in high school.
Was Kevin Costner? He was not an actual. He never did anything past high school, I don't think.
I mean, I don't know if you guys mentioned it right, but I know Woody Harrelson was apparently really good at basketball.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and then apparently, Wesley was awful.
Right.
They had to make that work.
I'm seeing that Wesley was really good,
Yeah.
picked up the MLB stuff really fast in Major League. I'm also seeing people saying that Wesley picked up baseball faster than anyone on set.
Oh, as a side topic, we were talking about the best actors running on camera. Clearly, Tom Cruise, number one, best on-camera run. Wesley Snipes has a good run.
Definitely.
When he's Willie Mays Hayes and he,
he's great at that.
Also oversleeps. Kidding, EJ. We're going to clown you about this all morning, even though we could care less. But he gets up and starts, racing the guys right out of bed. That's a great running scene. It's all slow-mo.
Is he? I think does he run in Blade? I don't even know if he has to run.
Demolition Man, he definitely runs.
You're right. These actors do have time because a lot of them try to kind of become athletes. I feel like Costner talked about having a baseball background. I feel like he didn't pull that out of nowhere. Burt Reynolds was a running back at Florida State, played a little bit. His teammates was Lee Corso famously.
So Cowboy Bob is in the chat, youtube.com/InfinitySportsNet and twitch.tv/InfinitySportsNetwork. He said, Jamie Foxx and LL Cool J were so competitive during the filming of Any Given Sunday, they got into a fist fight. Yeah. Apparently Fox talked about this in one of his comedy specials.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that movie, the idea of a mobile quarterback, NFL wasn't comfortable with until they saw Jamie Foxx.
Is it Willie Beeman?
Yes, Willie Beeman. They're like, wait a second. This can work. Sorry, Cap. Sorry, Andy Dalton / Cap, the old pocket quarterback, losing the job to the mobile guy. The new trend in the NFL. I was not, by the way. Are you a fan of Any Given Sunday?
I am, but again, I'm not rewatching it all the time. This is not, I don't sit down on a Tuesday afternoon like I got to watch Any Given Sunday right now.
I think it's the cheesiest movie. I'm not a fan.
I mean, you know.
It
was meant to be over the top.
It was meant to be, but it wasn't like cheesy fun like Major League or something. I just did not work for me in any way. I thought it was, and Al Pacino, I'm sorry, the speech is iconic. I didn't buy him for 1 second as a football coach.
I kind of did, especially a football coach in Miami because he had that deep tan. Like, I thought he really played that well.
Don't tell me you bought Cameron Diaz as the
GM or owner's daughter or whatever. Yeah. I think I bought the Team Doctors. They were very much about, I mean, those, that was very like the good and evil. It's like an opera. This is a movie where all the archetypes are very obvious. Yeah. There's no nuance in these characters.
Who was the team that was Matthew Modine?
Matthew Modine was the good guy, and I believe it was the guy from Scrubs was the bad guy.
Oh.
What's his name? Scrubs, Office Space. I've interviewed him before. This is awful.
Ted McGinley. No, he was the announcer, I thought.
Hold on. Well, IMDb this in the break.
I interviewed Aaron Eckhart once.
Yeah.
And he was telling me he played the assistant coach. He was the John Gruden hot young offensive coordinator.
Yep.
He said he ran lines with Al Pacino. And he goes down to Al Pacino's trailer, and he's wearing like a pink bathrobe doing these football lines. and he said, this is not a secret. Pacino knew nothing about football. He's obviously as pure a theater person as there is.
Yeah, he's also like 5'2", I think.
Yeah. Aaron Eckhart was a very good athlete, they said. Anyway, the guy, what's his name?
Harvey Dent.
Harvey Dent in Batman, yep.
Mark's in Sacramento's got an alarm story. Good morning, Mark.
So I used to do morning radio, and I moved on to television. But what I used to have this alarm called the Sonic Bomb for people who are hard of hearing, and it has a super loud alarm with flashing lights and a little disc that you put under your mattress that shakes the bed.
Get out of here!
Because I missed my call time so many times that I got this And I still, the other day, I got a Facebook message from my old neighbor at my old apartment complex. It was like, hey, remember that alarm clock that I would hear from my apartment across the sidewalk from your apartment? It's the best alarm I've ever owned as a backup because, back in the day, cell phones would just die in the middle of the night.
Yep. Oh, my gosh, I'm looking at it right now. The Sonic Bomb. It's extra loud with a bed shaker for heavy sleepers. It retails for $41.99. All right, EJ, we know what we're getting you for the holidays.
What about your partner? Like, Mark, I don't know. If you had to wake up early, if you had a partner, didn't they have to sleep longer? Like, I don't want to wake up the whole house.
Now, this was back in the day when I was single. Nowadays, I have my wife who I get a foot in the small of my back if my alarm goes off 3 times. Literally pushed off the bed. Get out of bed. Get out of here.
Yes.
Andre, you're listening? That's what I need. That's what I need moving forward.
Also, you don't want to be getting the same treatment like when the dog is snoring.
I can't tell you how many times my wife has actually said, Andrew, your alarm's going off. Andrew, your alarm's going off. Your alarm's going off.
Mark, thank you for that. And thank you for the intel. The Sonic Bomb. It sounds like something that'd be on Shark Tank. Like, hey, sharks, ever have trouble waking up in the morning? Here's something that's going to give you basically get an earthquake in your bed.
What about you, Maggie? I feel like you have such a good husband. He probably wakes up and goes down and makes you coffee.
No, I thought you were going to say, what about my alarms? I'm like, I just don't sleep. No, my husband is great. He's a heavy sleeper.
Okay,
he
so
has
he can sleep
nothing
through
to
it.
worry about.
No, the reason I said that is because you told me that your husband forces you to nap like you're a child.
He does.
Like you're 4.
Yep. Yes, he does. And we've been happily married for a long time. I think he actually does that a little bit for me, but mostly for him.
Yeah.
Because if I don't nap and I get grumpy, who's getting the brunt of it?
Or
it's not our
does
kid.
He be like, okay, Maggie, and sort of hand you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
No, but he does know. I don't know if you guys are like this. When I wake up from a nap, it's like a bear coming out of hibernation.
Oh, yeah.
So I just clear the path. I just have to get to the fridge.
Yep.
I can't just wake up do-do-do, Vivaldi playing in the background. I need to get to the fridge. I need a snack immediately. And so he knows to sort of clear the way.
My wife is an expert. She calls it bad mood Andrew after I get up from a nap. It's terrible. If I don't
Stay
get
away.
my blood sugar up, it's a disaster. We're all basically children.
Yeah. Well, I'll wake up and I'll be eating something, and he'll either come in and he'll be like, "You all right?" I'm like, "Do we need to talk about anything right now?" He's like, "No, we don't." And then he'll just sort of back away.
Oh boy!
Listen, you know people, and then I'll be fine 10 minutes later.
Yep, you don't want to get too hungry. It's the too hungry, too tired. Don't do it.
This is why he forces me to nap like a 5-year-old. 855-212-4227. See you guys on the phones. The greatest actor who was able to pull off also being an athlete on camera. We'll take those. Coming up, we got mid-season college All-America teams, Perloff. We're asking who is the best college quarterback in the country right now. It's not an easy answer. We'll do that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This portion of the show is sponsored by the new 2025 Hyundai Tucson Hybrid that has class-leading advanced safety features like the available blind spot view monitor to make your ride more enjoyable. All right, welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. Best actor athlete. The answers are so varied right now, Maggie. I don't even know. Are we talking about boxing movies? We're talking baseball, football, basketball. I think they're all kind of different, but there are some weird choices going out there.
Yeah, I mean, the classics, the Kevin Costners, the Charlie Sheens, Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
You know, these are kind of, the Mark Wahlbergs. We talked about that. Timothy, is in Michigan. I hadn't thought about this guy. Timothy, the best actor who had to play an athlete was who?
Dolph Lundgren.
I mean, he convinced me.
Wait, but he got a lot of steroid help. Like, was he really that good, or was it really the drugs?
Well, no, he in the early '80s in some martial arts, he was the European champion, and then he moved to New York with Grace Jones and took acting lessons, became an actor, then played the athlete. And the only reason why I knew about him being that European champion was on the set of, what was it, Rocky 85. Stallone wanted a little bit of a match, off camera, and Lundgren almost killed him.
In real life? Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He busted him up.
Whatever he hits, he destroys. I mean, that's just science.
He said if he dies, he dies. So I love that. When he said Rocky 85, I think you meant the year. There's been so many Rockies. We will eventually get to 85. Timothy, thank you for that. Dolph Lundgren. I didn't know that he was a European champion in martial arts. He was my friend's babysitter at one point.
Wow.
Yeah, my friend's dad, one of my friends and we ended up being roommates together in New York when we first moved here. Her dad is a movie producer who did a lot of European films. And so when Dolph Lundgren moved to L.A., he was, kind of struggling, still actor. And, he babysat my friend Jamie Goldblatt.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Jamie Goldblatt's babysitter was Dolph Lundgren back in 1989 or something.
Does he tell him when they're about to go to sleep, if you die, you die?
No, it must not have been 89. Hold on. That would have been he was already famous by then.
Yeah,
it would have been more
earlier.
like 85.
Carl Weathers, he made the NFL, right? So he was obviously a good athlete. I think he was a Kansas City Chief, I want to say. So I think Apollo Creed you could tell he was athletic.
Dolph Lundgren, fourth degree black belt.
Well, Perloff just said Jean-Claude Van Damme. I'm like, he was really, I think he was really a kickboxer, or I'm just a sucker.
Yeah, maybe I'm a sucker. I thought he was too.
Oh, sorry. Carl Weathers was a Raider. I don't want to get that wrong.
Yeah, geez. Rival.
Yeah.
Quickly, Will's in California. Will, who's the greatest actor who had to play an athlete?
Well, I just thought of one. I got one I'm going to submit, but I just thought of one. I just thought of Chuck Norris was a world karate champion, and he's made a lot of movies and done TV. But the other guy I was thinking of was in a sappy surf movie in the late 80s called North Shore, and it was a legendary big wave surfer named Laird Hamilton.
Oh, yeah. Well, Laird Hamilton is wildly famous.
But he's just an athlete.
No, but he was in the movie. He played the bad guy surfer.
No, but we made a rule that if you're an athlete who plays an athlete, then that doesn't count. So you don't get Ray Allen, and you don't. I'm sorry, this is a technicality. You don't quite get Laird Hamilton.
Do you also have a question? You have a suggestion for EJ, whose alarm never went off this morning, missed the first hour of the show?
Well, they got a thing called a shock watch or a shock. It puts a shock through you, and you can program it through your devices, and you can adjust the amount of.
Wow, this escalated quickly.
Yeah, and you can buy it. It's on Amazon. There's several there. I think it's about $150 or something. There was one other athlete. Nobody's going to say this because I'm dating myself, but he was a great actor. But he also was a race car driver by the name of Steve McQueen, and he did a movie in the late '60s called Le Mans, and he bankrolled the whole thing, and almost bankrupted him. But he was a real driver.
Definitely. Steve McQueen has one of the coolest Sports Illustrated covers that nobody ever talks about. They all talk about Muhammad Ali's covers, which are amazing.
No, he was on his Husky. He was on his Husky motorcycle with, I think, his son, or
So
if
cool.
That's the one you're thinking of.
Well, solid call.
Well, I
EJ,
think,
you want a shock watch?
I think when you talk about the drivers, though, because Paul Newman, a driver, Patrick Dempsey's like a professional driver. Not sure that counts.
I love that Chuck Norris was a black belt who then became Walker Texas Ranger, and when Chuck Norris was born, he drove his mom home from the hospital.
Oh yeah.
When Chuck Norris slices onions,
okay,
the
Mag,
onions cry.
No, we're not.
Okay,
Bogus
is here.
We're not doing.
Keep going, Max.
All right. Well, when the boogeyman goes to sleep, he checks to see if Chuck Norris is under the bed.
Incorrect. Those are still funny. Headlines are sponsored by Prize Picks. Football season's here, and Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. Download Prize Picks and use code M&P and get a $50 credit instantly when you play $5. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details. What if we just sim Saints Broncos 1,000 times on Madden and use those results instead of actually playing tonight? Thursday Night Football is Sean Payton's return to New Orleans, but not much else. Broncos QB Bo Nix struggles with a full week of prep. Now he's got just 4 days.
Cram everything all at once and just learn a lot at one time. But that's, part of, the game. A lot of guys have to do that. It's part of the fun of playing on a Thursday night.
Denver's defense will be without corner Patrick Surtain, who suffered a concussion Sunday. Saints wideout Chris Olave also had a concussion. And Rashid Shaheed is having surgery this morning in L.A. for a meniscus injury. He's out indefinitely for New Orleans. All of that on top of Derek Carr missing another game with his oblique issue.
EJ, that means our guy, Bub Means, is going to be the number one target.
That was the guy we just learned about.
Bub Means is the Saints' number one receiver. I think he's undrafted wide receiver out of Pitt. There you go.
Come on, EJ, who's getting breakfast for another month?
No. We formed this one together. We came in on Monday morning. I was like, who is this guy who caught the touchdown? Bub Means. And
what's Bub short for?
We have no idea. And
Bubba.
Bubba? What's Bubba short for?
Bub Means.
I don't know.
Yeah, Bubba is one of those nicknames that it never goes to any actual name, right? Like it's just always just
Bubba,
a separate name.
Oh,
from
sorry,
Charles or like Tim.
He was a 5th round pick this year, not undrafted.
Yeah, his name is Gerard. Like there's no Bub that comes in there.
What's Bubba Wallace's? William. Okay.
Right, no one's named Bubba. Okay, we've established.
Also, like it's not like Chuck and Charles. It's just you could be named anything, and your nickname becomes Bubba.
Good to know.
Hey, Bub.
Kike Hernandez broke open Game 3 of the NLCS with a 2-run homer in the 6th. Shohei Ohtani crushing a 3-run bomb in the 8th, and 5 pitchers combined for their fourth shutout in 5 games. The Dodgers taking a 2-1 lead on the Mets with an 8-0 win in Queens last night. This game might have been a little different had Walker Buehler not struck out Francisco Lindor with the bases loaded in the second. LA manager Dave Roberts.
That was the pitch of the game. Obviously, the crowd was into it. They were gaining momentum. And to get the breaking ball down below the zone and get a great hitter out was huge. And I think that's just kind of speaks to experience.
Buehler with 4 shutout innings after giving up 6 over 5 in Game 3 of their DS with the Padres. Game 4 is 8 Eastern tonight. The Yankees taking a 2-0 lead into Game 3 in Cleveland. That one starts shortly after 5.
Yeah,
Well, wait.
I mean, also the bases were loaded. Could we have just said that?
Yeah.
That's why it was big.
I thought that, that's a hard spot because you have to pitch to Lindor. He hit the grand slam. Like, you can't walk him.
No, you can't.
I was sure that he was going to get a hold of one and give me another home run in my contest.
I know.
How about a single?
No, I needed a home run. I didn't want a single.
I could have got a single, 2-2 game. That's all I needed there. Just, contact.
We haven't really taken the temperature of the room. I mean, congrats, Dodgers. But we haven't taken the temperature of the room yet of how we're all feeling now with the Mets down 2-1.
Well, I'm a little concerned because I am taking my son to the game tomorrow, and I've been telling him how amazing the atmosphere is going to be.
Yeah.
But now it's possible that we're walking into the Mets funeral tomorrow.
Well, that's going to be tense, too, if they're down. Like, people are just on edge.
Or it's going to be 2-2, and it's going to be remarkable.
Or you're going to have the night of your lives,
Right.
yeah.
Isn't the pattern been like one team wins 10-2 and the next team wins 8-0? Like, I feel like it's been a feast or famine.
Your
playoff.
analytics are the Mets are 1-0 when they score in this series since they've been shut out twice.
That Dodger shutout thing. What was that stat you just said?
4 out of 5 games have been shutouts. The last 2 against the Padres, now game 1 and 3 against the Mets.
This is what scares me.
And they didn't have pitching, which is why I wanted to play them.
And by the way, Walker Buehler, who we know is awesome, but is having a year that's basically like riding a roller coaster of epic proportions. Now all of a sudden, just swing and miss.
Yeah.
I'm sure this happens to every team, but it just feels like for some reason the Mets just go up against guys who get shelled by everybody else who's untouchable against the Mets.
Maybe it's the Mets.
I guess so, clearly. But I'm like, maybe other teams have these guys, but Jeff Supans, like I can go through the names of guys where I'm like, why can't the Mets hit this guy? Everyone else does.
You know, I learned from. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, they're also historically bad against people making their first career start.
Yes.
Those guys,
terrible.
Like, historically, forever.
How many Braves pitchers have come in and just like, he just got called up, and it's like, and he exits going 7 innings, fanning 9.
He was born 2 Wednesdays ago, and he just shut out Mike Piazza and the Mets.
Well, you tip your cap to a good pitching performance. Like, what? The guy's a fetus.
He had Tommy John surgery last Wednesday, but he's going to go 2 innings against the Mets.
So he's throwing left-handed.
It's just a complete game shutout. Can you believe it? How
this
about
guy's a
that?
first baseman. 5 good, strong innings.
And the Mets are sat down in order. Like, wow, cool. I did learn something from Amy Lawrence, who comes on before us. She found out that Shohei Ohtani has a suite at Dodger Stadium and his dog attends every game. Do you think he does on the road as well? Is Decoy in the house?
I don't think the Mets would let Decoy into the house.
Have him sit outside?
Yep.
You got to wait in Queens.
There are rules.
I wonder what kind of dog Decoy is. You can't take every dog on a plane.
Well, they're flying private.
No,
He's
I mean,
what?
just
I think it's a corgi.
Corgi?
Well, don't forget, he threw out the first pitch this year, Decoy, so you can find that video and confirm his
sure.
species.
I just know, like,
In my mind, he's a husky, but I guess
He's not.
Okay.
Yeah, that he's not.
Corgis should be good. I know, pugs and dogs like that you can't put on a plane. They could.
God, we were on a total roll with that whole thing there about the Mets not being able to hit anybody. Yeah, we lost it with the dog.
Okay, sorry. Back to you, Bogus. Sheesh.
We were killing the Mets. I was into this. That was fun.
All right, let's recover in Minnesota, one of the biggest shots in WNBA history.
8 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter of Game 3. 4 seconds. Ionescu will heave and hit! And hit! Sabrina Ionescu with the biggest shot in Liberty history.
It was a tie-breaking 28-foot three with 1 second left. Ryan Ruocco calling it on ESPN. Sabrina Ionescu capping off the Liberty's recovery from a 15-point hole to take Game 3 in Minnesota 80-77. They can win their first WNBA title there in Game 4 tomorrow night.
Wait, sorry. I want to let Perloff. Do you want to have a couple more jokes you want to get off about the Mets? You got any more?
No.
We went around the horn 2 times.
No, I mean, no, I'm so sorry. Yeah, that was.
Can Ionescu catch a bad ninth, by the way?
They're going to win this next game. You're going to see a 9-1 win. It's not like the Mets are not great, too. But they seem like when they don't show up, they really don't show up. You know?
Yep, we're getting that.
32 years, Pearl. Yes.
We're picking up on that.
Wait, you guys are down 2-1. I thought you would be like, we got them right where we want them. Isn't that the Mets thing? Like they look like they're in trouble and then they find a way?
Yeah, but the Dodgers seem to be slightly different than your Phillies and the Brewers.
Yes.
Different
really?
mean better.
They're good.
Yeah.
They seem to be good.
But they weren't good before this. Everyone was telling me how bad they were.
Well, and then I brought the dog energy into it, and now all of a sudden we can't talk anymore.
I thought even the announcer said last night, like the Dodgers came in the playoffs reeling.
Well, and I think people also thought, and they said this last night too, that the Padres were better than them.
Yeah. Like the Padres were the hardest challenge.
Yes. So we all thought that. So like it's a little bit of a upset that they won the first, and then we're down 2-1 as well. So it is. They are a little surprising, but you saw last night like the perfect formula for them. They scored early. Their bullpen, as they expect, didn't give up anything. And Ohtani comes in and hits one 7,000 feet up and out to cap off the game.
Okay, I'm going to be totally neutral observer here. I've seen this Mets team. I wouldn't count them out until they're out.
No one's counting them out.
They're
but
really ridiculous.
Right, but now they gotta win 4 out of 5 games or 3 out of 4 games against a really good team.
It's not looking great. I've already decided who my scapegoat's going to be, though, if they lose. I pre-decided. No, I wish. Blame the dog.
Alvarez?
No. It's the front office / manager for starting Kodai Senga.
No.
That wasn't a good.
It was a dumb idea.
It's fine.
And bad choice of DHs last night, too. That backfired.
Did they win this Kodai Senga game
did
against
not.
the Phillies?
They did not. No,
against the Phillies.
Against the Phillies.
They did.
Oh, yeah, we did.
But
Like
he wasn't
handily.
very good.
Yeah, but they killed them in that game.
855.
Gave them false confidence.
You guys were ready to lose. 855-212-4227. Bogusch, thanks so much. Coming up, who is the best college quarterback now that we're at the midseason? We'll tell you next.
You're in a 5-minute break.
This is Maggie Gray. Ooh.
15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie, great. Andrew Perloff. All right, we got to talk a little college football because we got maybe the most exciting game of the weekend, or at least the one we're most pumped up for. You got Georgia and Texas playing Saturday night in Austin. Perloff, here's a question, though. We're basically at the midseason of the college football year. And midseason All-America teams came out yesterday, a variety of different media outlets putting out their All-America teams for the midseason. You are surprised that Cam Ward was the midseason All-American quarterback on several different outlets.
I guess I wasn't surprised. Like, I'm not arguing it. It just didn't jump to mind because he's no longer one of the top 3 Heisman guys, or maybe he is top 3, but I feel like Dylan Gabriel passed him over. And honestly, I feel like Shedeur is right there as far as buzz with Cam Ward. I guess it would be weird to put Shedeur Sanders first team because Miami's undefeated. But I would think, like, I've watched a lot of mock drafts. Like, Shedeur is kind of the hot name right now, and not necessarily Cam Ward, because Cam Ward hasn't. Has he been on a bye or something? I feel like we haven't heard from him in a couple of weeks.
Well, he just is coming off one bye week, but you'll remember the last game we saw was the big comeback against Cal. And sometimes,
but that was late, right? Or like
late in the night.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it still happened. I guess, like, the one thing about Cam Ward, though, sometimes it's like the line from The Simpsons about alcohol. It's like alcohol, the cause of and solution to all life's problems. You know, when Homer says that about beer. Like, sometimes I think Cam Ward gets himself into trouble, but then gets himself out of trouble. So what do you take? Do you take the getting into trouble or you take the getting out of trouble? He and the Hurricanes have not beaten a team yet that's been ranked. So if you're going to give it to Dylan Gabriel, who earlier in the season looked really shaky, throwing red zone interceptions, all of that, we all remember the Idaho game, but look at how good he looked at against Ohio State, where you're seeing the explosive plays. You're seeing him just sling it out there. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions in that game against a very good Ohio State defense. So if you're asking me who's the best quarterback in college right now, not the one I think is going to be drafted the highest, but who's the best, I think after the Ohio State game, I might give it to Dylan Gabriel, even though Cam Ward has been, at times he's been amazing. He's only thrown 5 interceptions to the 20 touchdowns, but still.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like, honestly, the distinction is minor in the sense that, like, who knows? Carson Beck could throw for 450 yards this weekend.
It's a big weekend for
Quinn
him.
Ewers could go off the rest of the season. Like, and Milroe, I know Milroe is beleaguered right now, but you want to see him in a playoff game? I just feel like these quarterbacks are all really, really tightly grouped.
So who do you think is the best college quarterback right now?
Honestly, I think the best quarterback this year has been Shedeur, believe it or not. I probably would have put him first team, just a little bit over Cam Ward, and then Dylan Gabriel right there. If I had a vote, but again, it's just it's really, really tight. That being said, I think the second, I think Ashton Jeanty is such a strong Heisman front runner right now, but the second half of the season, everything flips. Oregon doesn't really have a tough schedule, so I'm not sure that's going to flip, but there's going to be some big quarterback performances the second half. I mean, who knows? Garrett Nussmeier's numbers are crazy. I think Carson Beck is going to have some monster games. It looks like he's kind of found his footing again. I think Cade Klubnik is going to have a real say in this when it's all over his head. His numbers are fantastic.
So it's interesting you mentioned Klubnik because he's been coming on. Obviously, there's a lot of stats flying around where since the Georgia game, he's thrown 14 touchdowns, only 1 interception. And then you go back to the Georgia game, and the final score was bad there. His final line, 18 for 29, no touchdowns, but no picks. Yeah. It's like it wasn't this disaster of a game for him that was, the offense wasn't good, but it wasn't this like total meltdown where he threw 3 picks or like what we saw with Carson Beck in the first half against Alabama where like this guy couldn't figure out where he was. And to be fair, I guess didn't Beck throw 2 interceptions against Mississippi State, but I don't know if those were all his fault. It's
the Georgia defense. It's been weird,
that's
right?
been but back in that first half against Alabama, we were watching somebody just totally melt. And to his credit, he came back and had a really strong second half, even though they lost.
Yeah, I mean, but he's going to get some numbers too at that team. Although all his receivers are either in trouble or not playing. What about the wide receiver? The fact that Ryan Williams wasn't first team on CBS is they had Trey Harris, who leads the country receiving, but that's Ole Miss. Like they're doing tempo and they have 1 million yards, and then Teteroa McMillan. That makes sense because he's fantastic. But how can Ryan Williams not be first team? He's spectacular. The Alabama wide receiver.
I think that they're probably docking Alabama for the close win against South Carolina. I don't know.
Yeah, but
the loss
Trey
to
Harris,
Vandy.
Ole Miss. I mean,
I get it. No, Ole Miss. They're nothing to write home, but they might be one of the worst teams in the SEC.
I just know the Alabama obviously does not have as big a passing offense as some of these other schools, but still he is just eyeball it. Him and Jeremiah Smith are probably two of the best wide receivers we've seen in forever. I think those guys are just so physically spectacular. I would have put them probably both on the first team. I'm telling you, watch Teteroa McMillan if he matches up with Travis Hunter. That's something we're going to see in the NFL for the next 10 years. That'll be fun to see this weekend.
EJ, who's the best college quarterback right now?
I think Cam deserves it, to be honest, because when you look at the metrics, the stats, Miami's number one in offense in pretty much everything.
Yep, number one scoring offense, number one yards per play.
Number one passing, number one total offense in terms of yards. Like, he's orchestrating that, and this was a Miami offense that has been just flat out bad for so many years, and he's just overnight came over and just he's changed the whole culture.
Can you pull the who have they played, though?
Yeah, I feel like they've got an SEC opponent in there in Florida. I know they're not great, but they just went down to the wire, Tennessee. South Florida almost beat Alabama.
Yeah.
So, like, it's weird that their best games are kind of non-conference games. But I think they've played enough teams where it's not like they've played just complete cupcakes.
They've got Louisville on the schedule this weekend, which is exciting.
Yes.
But we'll see what happens.
Got to tell you, Miami and Notre Dame, when they get to that playoff and play some real teams, EJ, we'll see.
855-212-4227. Who's the best college football quarterback right now at the midway point of the season? It's Maggie and Perloff. Coming up, is one team on the verge of major panic this weekend? We'll tell you next.
I don't think I have a read. This is Andrew Perloff with a Sports Minute. This is Andrew Perloff with an Odyssey Sports Minute. The Broncos trade.
1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
One of the games of the weekend, clearly, Chiefs visiting the 49ers. Hey, welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. I put it slightly below Texas, Georgia, Perloff, in terms of what I'm most interested to see because I just watched the 49ers and the Chiefs play in the Super Bowl. And to me, I get why this is a big game in some ways for San Francisco. There's a boogeyman aspect to the Chiefs that is many teams in the AFC know about, but obviously to lose to them twice in the Super Bowl and have leads on them both times, there's a certain kind of like scar tissue pain or whatever that comes with that. The problem is none of that's really going to get solved even if they win this game on Sunday afternoon, because it's not a game with the highest stakes. Like Kyle Shanahan could pull out all the stops here to beat Andy Reid. To me, it doesn't mean a lot. Do you think it means something if they win?
It has nothing to do with the old thing. Like, yeah, San Francisco's, they're 3-3. Their season is teetering on the brink in the sense that, like, they just cannot stay healthy. Like, Jordan Mason really gets it going against Seattle, then he hurts his shoulder. I just feel like they're afraid. Remember the season where Nick Bosa went down early and they just went, Nick Mullins played quarterback. Like, I think they're terrified. Like, this is going to be just a snake bitten season. And unfortunately, this is a big game. They're coming off the mini bye with a Thursday night game. And Kansas City has a bye. That's an unfortunate scheduling quirk because Andy Reid's unbeatable off a bye. Yeah, I think if they go to 3-4, it has nothing to do with the history. I think that's panic time. That's really bad.
Really? See, I don't see it as panic time, whether it's going to be losing to the Chiefs or losing to any AFC opponent. I don't see it as panic time because haven't the 49ers earned the benefit of the doubt from us? All the weapons, they've stacked at weapons to the point where I think you can say you can hold the fort, so to speak, even if Christian McCaffrey doesn't come back for a few more weeks or whatever. You know, I just trust them, I guess. You know, I don't trust Kyle Shanahan in a big game. I think he's shown that he gets tight at the biggest game, rather. Mm-hmm. But I don't have any doubts in my mind that not only the 49ers, definitely a playoff team, I think they're another deep run in them, another at least NFC championship game. And I get it. There's, you know, they've played a lot of extra games over the last couple years. Definitely can understand why the roster is beat up. But I'm looking around at the rest of the NFC. And besides the top three teams in the NFC North, who are very good, but again, let's wait and see a little with the Vikings. I know people are going to get so mad about that because they're 5-0. But I just want to see a little bit more. Forgive me. I want to see Dan Campbell coaching in another big game and see what happens with the fourth down situations and what happens with that and how he's coaching and managing the game. And then for the Packers, do we know whether Jordan Love's knee injury is going to pop back up again or is he totally past this? So I just think the NFC is a little bit watered down to me. And for that, I think the 49ers find themselves in a good spot, even if they go to 3-4.
Well, I mean, the 49ers beat a younger Packers team last year. You think the Packers would take a step up from where they were, and they got super lucky to win that game.
They did.
Then they beat a younger Lions team. The Lions, if Hutchinson was healthy, the Lions are clearly improved from last year. So I think that those two rivals should be a little better, except for the Hutchinson injury. We'll see if they add like a, who knows, a Hassan Reddick or somebody, some kind of role player. I just think that the Niners are so watered down. Like they do, you say that like they're resilient, but they do get affected by injuries. You saw last year those games where Debo and Trent Williams went out. They had a 3-game losing streak. They're terrible without Nick Bosa on the field. Their offensive line is just like, are you scared of that defense at all anymore? I just don't see it the same way it used to be. Like something happened. They just got either they got a little older or they got watered down or they can't stay healthy. Like. I just think if their defense is not ferocious anymore, then you're relying on Brock Purdy to win shootouts in big games. I just think it's a different formula for the Niners, and I'm not as comfortable. I mean, they were unbeatable last year. They looked like a juggernaut, and this year I've not seen that team.
They did, but to be fair to them, when they did get in these real dogfights in the NFC divisional round and then in the NFC championship game, I mean, they ended up victorious out of those too. So you're talking about how these other NFC teams came for them. They came for them, and they were turned away ultimately.
Yeah, but the Lions are a team that's developing. I mean, it might not be this year because of Hudson. Like, I feel like that is a Super Bowl team.
They look really good.
Yeah.
But again, you're right. Aiden Hutchinson goes down when he's playing in the middle of a blowout of the Dallas Cowboys, and he's definitely not coming back in the regular season. I think it's a pipe dream to think he'll be coming back in the playoffs.
And one other thing, it's almost certainly going to be on the road for the Niners this year. Unless McCaffrey gets back sooner than we thought, I just don't see them running the table here.
Yeah, but I saw them go to Dallas. I saw them go to Green Bay. I saw a similar team go on the road and make it, and go to the Super Bowl. Wait, well, that was the year they lost to the Rams. I'm sorry, but they did. They've played well on the road.
I hear what you're saying. I just don't see the same Niners team as last year. We'll see.
What's interesting?
And if McCaffrey comes back, is he McCaffrey? That's the other big question looming over them.
I mean, how would we ever know? And when's he coming back? Remember on Thursday, the day after the game, we were talking about the sort of throwaway line that Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit at the end of the game said. They're talking to John Lynch and. Is McCaffrey going to come back at all this year? I was like, wait, what? I thought he was coming back for the Chiefs game. We put up a poll on X. If the Niners lose to the Chiefs, is it time to panic? As a 49er fan, it's literally 50-50. Yes, no. 855-212-4227.
The Niners schedule is nasty.
It is. On the road at Green Bay, on the road at Buffalo.
Yeah. A couple breaks late in the season. They have Detroit right around New Year's Day. This is going to be like, I just don't think they're going to get home field this year. But you have a good point. Like now, home field doesn't mean the same thing in the NFL. They just got to get healthy.
You know what's funny? So they're coming up. They're playing the Chiefs coming off a bye. You had the Andy Reid stat earlier.
Yeah, 21-4.
21-4. Andy Reid coming off of a bye. Patrick Mahomes as an underdog.
10-3 straight up. I think he's only not covered the spread once.
And this is a 1.5 point spread the last time I looked. So it's razor thin to begin with. But you're talking about scheduling quirks. So they're also getting the Cowboys next week, who, listen, they have owned the Cowboys. What RJ Ochoa said, that they're the daddy, whatever. But they've owned the Cowboys. But the Cowboys are going to be coming off a bye, and they have to be as desperate as any team. They should be as desperate as we've seen any team play. Well, I don't know if it's going to look that way.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Be.
You're right. They just might not have the talent to hang with the Niners. The one thing about the Chiefs are 5-0, right? They've been dying to lose a game. Like they have been flirting with losses left to right. Their offense is totally non-explosive. So I think it is kind of an important game for the Niners. Like they need this win because 3-4 is going to be depressing. Just morale-wise, like. What's it? Isaac Guerrero at running back and 3-4. That's going to feel dire. I think if we're fast forward to Monday and they lose, it's going to feel bad. But if they win, then we're going to be right back on the bandwagon. At least I will be.
855-212-4227. All right. So that's one of the amazing games that we're looking forward to this weekend. Tonight, not so much. Tonight feels like more of a baseball night, to be honest. And I'm sure, Perloff, you're right. I bet more people will watch the Saints play the Broncos because it's the NFL, and the NFL just eats every other television sports product. But I don't know. Feels like a baseball night to me.
I'm actually pretty psyched to see Spencer Rattler. That guy say what you want. His arm is definitely an NFL arm. I'm very interested because he's such a great story, too. The fact that he was the number 1 overall recruit, struggled, lost his job to Caleb Williams. Like, I'm curious what he does tonight.
All right, I'm back in. 855-212-4227.
That was fast.
I've got multiple TVs anyway. It's all good. We also asked a very important question because, Perloff, you are watching the Aaron Hernandez dramatized drama series. Is there any comedy in this?
Not intentional. It's on FX. Yeah, it's quite amazing. Watch it just for the football scenes.
And you said they're not that great.
Well, you've seen them on Twitter.
I've seen a couple clips. They don't look great. So
they're just moving so slow.
Belichick would not like that. You can't practice slow. We're asking you, who's the best actor who had to play an athlete? Not who's the best athlete. Like, we're not talking about Ray Allen here and he got game. We know Ray Allen could shoot. That one was easy for Spike Lee. Who's the best actor who had to fool us into thinking they were great athletes? Acting.
Yeah.
Mark's in Indianapolis. Mark, what do you think?
Yeah. Ronald Reagan played George Gipp in Win One for the Gipper.
How was his performance? I've never seen that movie.
I can't remember watching it myself, but
I don't blame you.
But I'm old. I've got an excuse.
I've watched it, and I actually study this movie very closely. The new Rockney story.
Oh, right. Give us the 411. Thank you.
Because
that was funny.
One of my old jobs was writing scripts for Yogi Berra to introduce sports movies, and we did New Rockney All-American. I'm not sure that I think Reagan did throw the ball in this. He looked very athletic. He was a football announcer, right? Or football or baseball, one of the two. He definitely came up in sports, so he was a legit sports guy. He looked really good. He did. But did he call the movie "Win One for the Gipper"? I don't. It's called New Rockney All-American.
Well, I mean, what do we remember it for? Should I watch it? I've never seen this one.
It's pretty good. Who plays? Pat O'Brien plays the New Rockney. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's old. It's like really old.
What was I was just watching a sports thing where Ronald Reagan calls somebody. Oh, it was Pete Rose. That's what it was. When Pete Rose passed away, that clip was circulating that Ronald Reagan calls him, right? From the field, I think.
Yeah.
When he got the 3,000, when he became the all-time hit king. And I think he's talking to Ronald Reagan like on a phone, on a old school phone. Did you see this clip that was going around?
No, but I remember the president used to call when baseball was big, they used to call the dugout like right after the World Series all the time.
I feel like both HW and George W were calling the person literally from the champagne toast in the clubhouse, and it's like, we've got the president for you.
Well, remember, Ron Reagan's famous call was to the, I think it was Al Davis, or maybe it was Tom Flores, when he was like, I told the Soviets that we have a new weapon. It's Marcus Allen. Because remember, Marcus Allen had that great run against Washington, I think.
What a line.
Yeah. And he delivered it so well.
Well, he's an actor.
He's an actor, of course. He delivered it so well. And the suspense is like, I just made a call to the Soviets to warn them of a new nuclear weapon we have. Is Marcus Allen, and like Tom Flores starts laughing. It's like one of the
imagine the candidates now. It's like, I called Putin. We've got Ashton Jeanty.
Yeah. I kind of miss that part of sports. Like it seems so kind of folks. It seems like out of a movie, right? Like movie things, you think, oh, the president calls the guy in an important moment. Like, when would that ever really happen?
Well, I mean, Trump's trying to jump on. He's going to be at the Jets-Steelers game on Sunday. He's definitely trying to get into the sports crowd.
Oh, he goes to a lot of college football games,
and he's on a lot of sports podcasts now, too.
Oh,
he was at that Georgia game.
Oh, he was at the Georgia game.
I know he just did Barstool. He's doing another sports one coming up soon. He's trying to get, I guess, the young male audience or something. And in Pennsylvania, football is a big deal. By the way, Ronald Reagan was an excellent athlete, played football, undersized but overachieving lineman. He was nearsighted and had to give up baseball. That was his dream, was to be a professional baseball player.
Interesting.
Then he became a baseball and football radio announcer for years and then got into acting.
I'm just wondering now, if you had to pull out any athlete today to use as diplomacy, I just
That's
called,
Oh, I mean, there are a lot of
just called Kim Jong-un. And I told him we got TJ Watt coming at you. I don't know who you'd say.
I think you get a nice guy. I don't think you get Watt is a nice guy, but he's intimidating. I feel like you get
Marcus Allen was
Oh, right.
He trucked people. Nice
Marcus
dude.
Allen?
Well, that's what EJ was saying.
Well, it was more speed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was like a missile.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. But also, too, like you got to get the right kind of, like Shohei would be an international weapon. Like,
yeah, but
we got Shohei.
Can we claim him?
No, I mean, if I was Japan, I would use him.
I was going to say, we got him now. It's like a rental.
Yeah, like who's like a great, like just a guy that everybody likes? That would be the person I'd want. Someone
I don't think in our divided times,
we don't
DJ,
have that anymore. I know, it's crazy. I'm trying to think of an athlete that's like that.
I think we all kind of like Mahomes.
Yeah,
he'd probably be good.
Yeah, he's good.
He's a leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd probably be the guy.
Numbers are down this year.
Not as intimidating.
Throwing too many picks.
Yeah, I mean, look at his receiving core.
That'd be funny if you're on like an important call with like, what is it, like the Prime Minister of China or something.
And he's like, am I really scared of Juju Smith-Schuster? I don't think so.
It's like, yeah, maybe if you sign MVS. I'm sorry, the Premier of China. Just counters.
I feel like Josh Allen could be good too.
People do love Josh Allen. I realized something about Josh Allen. You know how he's got a Tom Bradyism in this way. Tom Brady used to like fake a lot of surprise. And I think Josh Allen's doing that. Remember when Josh Allen got rated like #1 trash talker? He's like, who, me? Yes, you.
Or when he thought he didn't, he's like, I didn't know I was overrated. Remember that happened a couple weeks ago too?
Definitely lying. But when he does the, who, me? I'm the biggest trash talker, then you see him play the Jets and he just won't shut up. Bup. That's a rivalry though. Anywho. 855-212-4227. Realize a lot of politics talk there. But if we are going to send our best and intimidate our, foreign adversaries, still think maybe Jeanty's the guy.
How about Ant-Man? Anthony Edwards. Guy can dunk on your head.
I know. What happened in the playoffs though?
Yeah,
once they got to the Mavericks, it was just like,
dude, he just took the Minnesota Timberwolves to the Western Conference Finals. That's like a miracle on ice level upset.
He would say something crazy though.
I don't know if I trust him.
Did you see him trash talking?
We'd be in nuclear war.
Trash talking Jalen Brunson the other day in the game to the mic. I know.
Preseason.
He's out of his mind. And I absolutely adore that man.
Yeah, he's pretty likable. Rick is in Myrtle Beach. We're asking who's the best actor who portrayed an athlete? Who had us fooled the most? Rick, what do you got?
Morning. Keanu, I just saw this maybe a week ago. Keanu Reeves, when he filmed The Replacements, did such an amazing job with his footwork and his arm throwing ability and they filmed it where the Ravens play. I forget the name of the stadium. But they literally invited him for a tryout as a backup quarterback.
No.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Wait a minute. But
very, very true.
The Ravens are like a well-run organization. That's silly. That's like the Jets would do.
This is back in like 2000, 2001, whatever year, but it was very early 2000s. But I literally maybe saw this when you started talking about this. I'm like, I got a call.
Oh my God! I would peg that for like Woody Johnson and the Jets. I would maybe think that's something the Browns would do. The Raiders definitely. But you're telling me that Ozzie Newsome would have brought in Keanu Reeves? No shot.
Hey, love your show. Love your show. Have a good day.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate you listening. Do you believe that story? We got to look it up.
Nah, I don't know.
I'm seeing headlines that say that this happened. They're often kind of weird articles, but there are multiple articles being that the Ravens offered Keanu Reeves a tryout during the filming of The Replacements.
I mean, to be fair, they won a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer, so it's not like QB was the thing on that team.
Come on.
I'm just saying. That was a Ray Lewis defense first Super Bowl.
Say Reeves declined. He declined the invite because
he turned them down
because he had additional Hollywood projects in the works.
It's like, sorry, I'm shooting
Matrix 5.
I was gonna say, what's the
Bill and Ted?
Bill and Ted 2. It's not a bad movie.
I've seen them.
Bill and Ted 2 was not bad, but I love sequels. Owen's in Indiana. Owen, who's the best actor who portrayed an athlete?
Yeah, absolutely. Either Kevin Costner in any baseball movie ever, or the GOAT, Paul Crewe, Adam Sandler from The Longest Yard.
Yeah.
Perloff, Sandler. I'll let you take that one. How good of an athlete is he?
So I've covered him in basketball. He's pretty good. I mean, he's not Not Paul Crewe. Do you know who trained him? I think it was either Brian Greasy or some former NFL quarterback. Like spent a month with Sandler. I got to figure out who it was.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it. If you're an actor, you could get the best possible training.
Well, definitely. Oh, and thank you for the phone call. And I think that's sometimes why I think actors take these roles. Do you think a side benefit is because you get to call up Tom Brady and be like, can you teach me how to throw a football?
Absolutely. I mean, Adam Sandler talked about doing hustle just so he could play pickup all the time.
Yeah.
I got to find out who actually coached Adam Sandler because he looked pretty good throwing the ball. It's Paul Crewe.
Not bad at all. And Kevin Costner, definitely. I mean, Costner made he's a cottage industry of sports movies.
I think Robert Redford's swing in The Natural was really good. That dude's an athlete. No surprise. When you're that good looking, you can pretty much do anything.
Is that the rule? 855-212-4227. All right, so got a lot on the table for you there. Poll question today. If the 49ers lose to the Chiefs, they would go to 3-4. Would it be time to panic? Perloff saying yes. I say no. We're also asking who is the best actor to portray an athlete? 855-212-4227. All right, listen up, sports fans. This one is important. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, and bladder leaks can be a side effect. That's why Depend is teaming up with the Prostate Cancer Foundation to encourage screening, because health is a long game and it's yours to win. Now, here's the cool part. Through November, Depend is contributing up to $300,000 to prostate cancer research by donating 40 cents for every purchase of shields, guards, and Real Fit products. Void in Mississippi. Learn more at depend.com.
You're in a 4.5-minute break. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
That was a wonderful win tonight. I just think you ought to know, though, that you've given me some problems. I have already had a call from Moscow. They think that Marcus Allen is a new secret weapon, and they insist that we dismantle it.
That's an amazing line.
I don't know.
This is Ronald Reagan from what year? Who knows?
83, I think. That was the year the Raiders.
Is that the year where
Good vintage.
where Marcus Allen reversed course on the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
We were talking about
know.
greatest actors who portrayed athletes on screen, and someone called about Ronald Reagan, and it got us talking about that.
Yeah, that just felt like such sort of like somebody scripted that line for him and he said it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
If he
I
came
thought
up with
was such a
that off
great
the top of
I
his
thought
head,
Reagan was such a great actor. Like I felt like he could deliver that line a little better. That sounded like, by the way, that guy does a great Ronald Reagan impersonation.
well, it's like there are some people who have been imitated, so many times.
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
even know who's the real thing and what's the fake thing, like Christopher Walken or something.
Absolutely. And Ronald Reagan's way up on that list.
He is.
We're getting, by the way, before we get into more calls for the best athlete actor, can I just share with you guys something about how much of a wimp my co-host is? We're talking about horror movies because in this new Netflix documentary, LeBron James loves horror movies. Watched them since he was a young kid. And Maggie and I do not watch horror movies, but I read Wikipedia entries on all the horror movies to know the plots. Maggie can't even do that.
Nope.
You can't even read the plot of Hereditary or Midsommar or any of these horror movies.
No, there was one time when you and our former boss, Spike Eskin, got into a conversation about one of those movies, Midsommar, I think, and I walked out of the room. I don't even want to hear you talking about it
It's
because
not scary. Midsommar was not scary.
I think your threshold
What
is
about
higher than mine.
Hereditary?
Hereditary was disturbing, and it gave me chills, but Midsommar was not scary.
How about It? The clown.
When I saw it when I was a kid, yeah, it was a little scary.
Saw it as a kid. It just came out.
Was that last year?
It was like 2015. I was 14.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God.
I was watching the Mets lose in the World Series. Oh, but you were also watching that. I was in person. It was rough.
So my daughter told me it was not scary, and then I was kind of scared. I mean, it's a killer clown. What's not scary about that?
I won't even watch that. But we were talking about like some kids are really into horror movies,
Yeah.
even from a young age. You said your daughter was watching horror movies at like 5.
So when my daughter was in 4th grade, everybody saw it. Like that was, and I'm like, in the opening scene, a young child gets murdered by a clown. I'm sorry, spoiler alert.
That's why I don't watch these things.
I just think that the culture has really become forgiving on horror movies.
You know, but I remember being a kid and there was always a girl at one of the sleepovers who wanted to watch a horror movie. I'm like, why? Why do we all have to be scared? What is it about wanting to be scared? I don't get the instinct. Like that's not fun for me.
But at least like
You like it, Ryan.
I to some extent, like
Wait, Ryan, what's a movie that really scared you?
well, okay, there's different types of scaring. Like, are you scared because it's disturbing, or are you scared because it's like jump scares?
No, either. Anything. What scared you?
I just watched Terrifier, the new
Yeah.
the new hot thing, and that should not, I repeat, not be shown to any kid under, I'd say even 25.
Whoa.
I should have never seen that.
Isn't it
25, you can rent a car.
That looks so cheesy. That's scary.
It's not scary in its essence, but the things you see it's just like, why did I put myself through this?
Because it's gory.
It's very gory,
Yeah.
and I regret
seeing it.
ever seeing that.
Like, is it like one of those movies, those gross movies,
Like Saw?
or
It's like Saw, but like I'd say worse than Saw to some extent.
oh,
Imagine
God.
your-
I don't even
your
want.
movie's
You know
worse than
what?
Saw.
I'm getting a bad vibe just from hearing you tell me that.
This is why I don't read the Wikipedias. I don't even want to know the plot.
It's a killer clown. It's a killer clown that
Eh.
just terrorizes people.
Honestly, been done.
You know what? I think one of the scariest ones, my former coworker, Seton O'Connor,
Yeah.
from Dan Patrick Show, was terrified of this one movie called The Strangers, where they're out in the country and these people knock on their door. I think it's The Strangers. So something that could happen in real life. You live in the suburbs.
Yeah,
What if all of a
thanks.
sudden at 10:30 at night you got a knock on the door?
Tell him to send my husband down there.
And it's, like that is, I think that's a real life scary thing that people can relate to, unlike one of those killer clown movies.
By the way, you see the Smile people are back at the playoffs now.
Oh, I know. Ugh.
Oh,
I
no. There's
hate
another
it.
Smile movie?
Yeah, there's Smile 2's coming out, and they were. It's funny. I think it might have been when Viance hit the grand slam, they were behind the plate smiling.
Did you see the one guy broke character because a foul ball came back so fast?
Yes.
That he was like, ah! That really scared him. Not his creepy Smile movie promotion thing. And they're wearing those bright yellow shirts. It's like Marlins man back there. Just get out of my screen.
Oh, Marlon.
I don't need it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just looked up the plot of The Strangers. It's not good, Maggie.
What about Terrifier? Well, Ryan told us it's a
There's
killer
Terrifier
clown.
1 and 2, right? It's in there.
And 3. 3 just came out. I didn't see 3 yet. Supposedly it's the worst one yet.
In a good way.
You just said you
Yeah.
wish you'd never seen 2, so I wouldn't go see 3.
But now I have to see 3 because there was a story in 2.
How does it end?
That's what I'm saying.
I'm going to guess it ends with everybody dead.
You know what? I've seen all the scary movies, the Wayans Brothers comedies. Those are solid.
They only made the first 3, I think.
Oh, okay. Aren't there 4? Or?
There's like 5. I
There's
think.
a lot of them.
Yeah, those are pretty solid. you can
I
you
can't
can
even
handle
watch those.
You can handle those,
Scary
Maggie.
movie is like the lightest of all things.
No, I know they're funny though. They're
Yeah.
actually
They're almost like comedies, basically.
Yeah.
basically
They are.
They're 100%
Right, yeah,
comedies.
exactly.
I watched the original Scream.
documentaries.
That
Yeah.
was a bad idea. Actually, Blair Witch Project was the worst.
That's the
scariest
one-
I've ever seen.
Blair Witch Project was scary because non-horror movie people like Maggie and I actually went to see Blair Witch,
Yes.
like because it was a big movie at the time. Like,
Well,
yeah,
also
we
they
made
were
that mistake.
convincing us that it was real. It was like a very good promotion
Yeah.
around it. This is like not pre-internet, but kinda. And it was like a rumor that this was real footage that they found of these people who got lost in the woods and
Yeah.
blah blah blah. And so yeah,
A fantastic movie.
it is a good
That's
movie.
just
but
outstanding movie. Sixth Sense is a mainstream movie that scared a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it's really not super scary.
And the Jordan Peele one, I never remember the name.
Get Out?
That
was
that
very
movie
scary. There's a
bunch of
rocked
them.
me.
No, I didn't. Were you really scared
Yes.
of Get Out though? Because it was so interesting too.
I don't watch a lot of horror movies, so this is a limited list. But that one scene where the person is running at the guy at the front door is one of the scariest. It's so off-putting. It's so unnerving.
What's the other Jordan Peele where the other people show up at the other version of himself? You see this one?
There's
Nope.
3. Nope is the one with the alien,
Yeah.
and then it's
Us. Yeah.
Us.
Us. That was.
Us is another one where you get a knock at the door that you don't want. You just don't want that knock at the door in the suburbs. That's
Honestly-
why I live in the city.
For me, it's usually Amazon, and I'm like so excited. My stuff's here. I see like a random man walking in front of my house. I'm like, yes.
Maggie would last 1 minute in a horror movie as a character.
I'd be on my phone.
That
the whole
scene
time.
in Us where they look out the window and the 4 people are just standing there, that one kind of haunted me.
All right, let's get to the headlines here
Yeah.
before I get creeped out. What's going on, Bubba?
We left some good names on the board when we picked our postseason home run derby squads, but did anyone consider Kike Hernandez?
Hernandez hits it in the air, left field. Nimmo back on the warning track. He's at the wall. This ball is gone! Kike Hernandez owns October!
He's at least renting it. Steven Nelson, Dodgers Radio. Game 3 of the NLCS went from 2-0 to 4-0 on that Hernandez swing in the 6th. His 15th career postseason homer.
Wow.
I believe that's 8th among all active players.
It just brings out the best in me. I don't know if it's the Latino blood. I don't know what it is, man, but I put myself in a position since I was a little kid thinking that I was playing October baseball. when the games were important for me as a kid.
Shohei Ohtani put the game out of reach with a 3-run shot in the 8th. The Dodgers running away an 8-0 win, a 2-1 lead on the Mets. This is LA's 4th shutout in 5 games. Walker Buehler and 4 relievers combining for the 4-hitter. Game 4, 8 Eastern tonight. After Game 3 for the Yankees and Guardians, they're now in Cleveland with the Bombers up 2-0. Away from the playoffs, The Athletic reported yesterday that Jerry Reinsdorf is open to selling the White Sox. The 88-year-old is the second longest tenured owner in the majors, behind only the Steinbrenner family, and this is the second recent potential ownership change, with the Pohlad family considering selling the Twins.
I mean, this is such great news for White Sox fans. This is amazing news.
But he's got to sell now. You can't get all geeked up like he might finally let go of this, and then he goes, nah, never mind. I'm going to stick around.
Well, and there's always a risk that the next person's even worse. But with Jerry Reinsdorf, I feel like that risk is very small.
That's the next Jordan Peele movie.
It's just the Jerry Reinsdorf story. Oh, God, it's scary. I can't read the plot.
Rookie QBs on display on Thursday Night Football as the Saints host the Broncos. Spencer Rattler will be down at least 2 main New Orleans weapons. Wideout Chris Olave is out with a concussion, and Rashid Shaheed is having knee surgery this morning in L.A. Taysom Hill's doubtful with a rib injury. An instant classic last night in Minneapolis, the New York Liberty are racing a 15-point hole. They steal Game 3 of the WNBA Finals, 80-77 from the Lynx. Sabrina Ionescu drilling the tie-breaking 3 from 28 feet away with 1 second left. After Brianna Stewart posted 30 points, 11 boards, and 4 blocks, the Liberty can win their first title tomorrow night in Game 4. Luka Doncic back at Mavericks practice yesterday after missing 2 weeks with a bruised calf. He's unlikely to play tonight's preseason finale, which means he, Kyrie, and Klay Thompson will get no time together on the floor in game action before the regular season.
How do you bruise a calf?
You get kicked.
Yeah, it sounds like a weak excuse to miss preseason.
We're soulmates.
Yeah, I feel like that's just like, give Luka a rest. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
The Colorado Avalanche are off to their worst start since 1998, but at least they have Matthew Steinberg.
So Pasternak. Here we go. Now we got a fight at center ice, and guess who it is? It's Steinberg. Right by Steinberg. Right by Steinberg. Oh, he's beating up Zadorov. Right by Steinberg, and he drags Zadorov down to the ice. Big tree fall hard. Matthew Steinberg, full of courage.
That's directly for Maggie. Came in beaming this morning because of this.
Nice.
I said, I got a hockey highlight. You got it here. It's like, who would have expected? Who else? Steinberg. It's like, well, I might have expected a few other guys. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's that's hilarious. Honestly, that whoever the play-by-play is, they have a future in boxing announcing. That was as good a play-by-play. I mean, nobody touches Lampley, but that was pretty good.
Yeah. I can't think of this man's name right now, and I'm sorry about that. The Avs did win the fight, but they lost the game 5-3 to the Bruins, so they are 0-4. Again, their worst start since 1998.
Wow. I just Googled Matthew Steinberg.
Yeah.
I got an economics professor at University of Chicago. I have an NFL agent and a lawyer. I've not gotten to the hockey.
Steinberg?
I haven't gotten to the hockey. Maybe it's the son of Lee Steinberg. I have not gotten the hockey player on this Google search. His name is Matthew Steinberg?
That's what he says in the call.
Wow.
And he's throwing haymakers is what's going on.
Oh, here he is. Oh.
Is he on page 2?
Yes. This guy is awesome.
He wasn't messing around last night. We're asking for
Steinberg is spelled Stienberg.
Oh.
Got it. 855-212-4227. We're asking, who's the greatest actor who portrayed an athlete on film or TV? Sean is in Oregon. Sean, who do you have?
Hey, I got a movie. It's one of the best movies that came out in its time. And there's a guy that played Rod Tidwell. It's Cuba Gooding Jr. Show me the money. It's all about the Quan, baby.
Sean, it's a great one. But I haven't seen Jerry Maguire in a while. I love that movie. It's such a good movie. It's so rewatchable, all that. But I don't remember tons of football scenes. Right? Like, that couldn't have been a body double because Cuba Gooding Jr. would have been in a full helmet and pads. Like, I know the Monday Night Football
I remember that
scene.
that game at the end, and Glenn Fry plays the owner, right? I don't
remember a lot of sports scenes in that movie.
You're right. It was mostly just
movie.
talk.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Cuba Gooding Jr., though, seems athletic. I don't know.
He's believable. But
Anybody remember how good Sinbad or Kathy Ireland were in Necessary Roughness?
Kathy Ireland was great.
I'm surprised we haven't gotten more calls about her, to be honest.
Yeah, she was fantastic. Best kicker ever.
Cut her for Zerline. Or cut Zerline for her if you're the Jets.
Like, you're bringing Kathy Ireland's character? It's like, no, just Kathy. Dean's in Pennsylvania. Dean, the best actor to portray an athlete is who, sir?
I'm going to say Rob Lowe in Young Bloods.
Yes.
Yeah, good one.
Man.
That's a good one. And also, I just thought of this as I'm sitting here. Tom Cruise in Days of Thunder.
Yeah, we were talking about race car drivers, like Paul Newman's in a race car driver movie, and race cars.
Paul Newman. No, he was they were actual drivers. See, I don't know.
Yeah.
Can you display athleticism while portraying a driver? I'm not sure that's easy to do.
Tom Cruise also has all the right moves, but I don't know if he was actually doing the football scenes. I think he was.
Probably. He was good in all the right moves. You're right.
Tom Cruise was directed and instructed by Hut Strickland and actually was in the cars.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah,
and driving a lot of those scenes.
That's
Tom Cruise is also nuts. He does his own stunts when he's like jumping out of an airplane.
No, he's driving a motorcycle off a cliff is the famous one, right?
I know. I watched a 15-minute documentary about the making of that. Dean, thank you so much for the phone call. I like how we're also this splintered off into the best actor, like running. Who's the best on-camera runner? I mean, Tom Cruise is really
take him out of the conversation.
He's the GOAT.
Yeah.
But I actually thought that Wesley Snipes was really good as a runner. Channing Tatum's not a bad runner on camera.
Chris Evans.
Yeah, all your Marvel people. I get that.
Harrison Ford.
Will Smith can run on camera.
Will Smith's a great on-camera runner.
Yes.
Men in Black, when he chases down the aliens, not bad.
Yeah, there you go.
Me, not so much. Tom Hanks, no. And by the way, the Tom Hanks Forrest Gump, the reboot that they're doing. Have you guys been seeing the commercials for this?
Yeah.
The What If Jenny Had Lived?
Oh, that's what that movie is? I saw the commercial last night in the baseball game. Here?
Yeah. No thanks.
Oh my God! Wait! Hold the phone. He's Forrest Gump in that movie?
Yes, it's
He's
Jenny
actually
and Forrest and Little Forrest, and I believe it's the alternate universe if Jenny had lived. And then it's like their life together. Who asked for this?
Oh my God!
That's not how Wikipedia describes it.
Oh, am I wrong? Okay, what actually is it?
It just says here is an upcoming American drama film, blah blah blah, based on a 2014 graphic novel by Richard McGuire.
Oh, I thought it was Forrest
Tom
Gump
Hanks
again.
is Richard Young and his wife is Robin Wright.
Yeah. So by the way, if you saw the commercial last night, like there was no Forrest Gump in there.
Yeah, he didn't talk like Forrest.
There was a couple who, and it shows them like it's really sad. By the way, it's basically the opening scene. It's the opening scene of the movie Up, where you see the life cycle of a family. Like you see, I will start crying if I talk about here. I already cried at the trailer.
Okay, so I was wildly wrong about that. I owe everybody apologies, starting with Tom Hanks.
Sliding doors on Forrest Gump.
He said, "Who asked for this?" Actually, no one did, man.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
All right. My faith in Hollywood has been restored. Can I at least defend myself? This is not a defense, but this is how I got this mixed up. I've been watching
ayahuasca.
I wish. I've been watching the baseball games with no sound, listening to the radio.
I gotta go.
But even so,
because I like the Howie Rose call for the Mets, and so I didn't have the sound up on the commercials either, and so I was like, Forrest and Jenny are back.
But even if you saw that commercial, I'm watching the trailer. There's
nothing about Forrest Gump.
Very, very clearly not Forrest Gump.
You even thought Little Forrest was in there.
There's controversial de-aging. It's like a 23-year-old Tom Hanks. Like there's no leg
I
braces.
thought they just gave him a different haircut.
I mean, there's been a lot, Maggie, between watching games in the cab, coming back from having fun. You watch Steelers Raiders again for fun the other day, and now there was a Lions preseason radio broadcast. I think it's time to talk to somebody.
You don't listen to Howie Rose on the radio?
I understand the general issue with TV broadcasters sometimes, but I don't have the energy to mute one and sync up the other so that's all lined up together. No, I do not do
listen
that.
on the Odyssey app. It's
I
free
think,
to
I
download.
think Maggie deserves a pass. Same actors.
Thank you.
It's the same actors.
I just connected a few dots that clearly weren't there. Sorry, Tom and Robin and
Robert Zemeckis, and Kelly Riley from Yellowstone. She's in this movie, I think.
And who's the little boy?
Paul Bettany's in this movie.
This looks like the biggest, most like shallow tearjerker movie ever made of all time.
Yeah, I don't want to see it, but I knew it wasn't Forrest Gump 2.
It feels like they're
What if Jenny lived?
Forrest Gumpier.
Maggie, I want you to watch this video.
No.
And slow, like again.
I'm embarrassed. I don't want to. I'm shamed.
I think it's said from the creators of Forrest Gump, and that's where it came from.
That must have been it. I'm watching with no sound. Silly. 855-212-4227. I'm sorry for being that reckless. Okay, coming up, we've got lots more to do, including, if I can find my rundown here. Oh, I love this. I could not believe this headline when I saw it. I thought, clearly, there's a mistake. There's a typo. This cannot be real. Turns out it is. Get to that next. Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Dianna Russini, The Athletic, is going to join us at the top of the hour. She was literally the person who interviewed Jerry Jones right after that now infamous radio interview when he went to the owners' meetings. Dianna was the one who got the follow-up where Jerry doubles down on basically being kind of petulant about the radio announcers and some other things, like the Cowboys are not going to be active at the trade deadline. So
Did Jerry threaten to fire Dianna as well?
Basically, it'd have the same amount of influence. We will get to the headline that I just couldn't believe in 1 second, but we're asking who's the greatest actor to portray an athlete on screen. Billy Z is in San Diego. Hey, Billy.
Hey, how you doing, Maggie? Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah.
So I got two little stories here. One is specifically for your question, and that would be Burt Lancaster that played Jim Thorpe.
Ooh,
Okay.
Yeah, by the way.
Yep,
Yeah.
I do.
I've seen that movie.
Okay.
Yep.
You've seen that movie?
Yep.
One of the greatest movie. He was a real Indian, Jim Thorpe, that was in the Olympics.
Yep.
Got the medal taken away from him because he played one day in a pickup game of baseball, so they took the medal away, but they gave it back to him like 50 years later after he died. But he was actually a trapeze artist. And here's the second story, which is kind of off a little bit. He was with a guy named Nick Cavett that was also a trapeze artist, and they were in a movie, which is one of my favorite movies, called The Crimson Pirate.
Huh.
Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Nope.
You've got to see that. Okay, so that movie, I bought it for my grandson. He loved it. I mean, it's one of the greatest movies, Crimson Pirate. Anyway, so Nick Cavett, which was a trapeze artist with Burt Lancaster in real life, Burt Lancaster said, I want him in the movie Crimson Pirate. And they said, we can't have him in the movie. He's got a Brooklyn accent. The guy sounds like, he can't be a pirate. So what they ended up doing is they ended up making him a mute in the movie.
Because he talked like this, like Vinny from Brooklyn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He talked just like that. Exactly. You got it perfect.
Well, I
So
was
they
a
made
host
him
on The
mute.
Fan for a while.
Yeah. Great movie. So, but that would be Burt Lancaster, who was in 2 movies. Well, he was in many more, if you heard of Burt Lancaster.
Yeah,
of
for
course.
sure.
But
No, he's
he
a
would be my,
he's a legend.
he
That's
would be
great.
Yeah.
Man, the
Thanks, bud.
trapeze one. Thank you. I've never heard of that one before.
What that caller doesn't realize is nobody in this room has seen anything that came out before 1996. So,
hey.
No, EJ 2007. Sorry.
Sam,
Have you seen the Jim Thorpe story with Burt Lancaster?
Oh, definitely not.
I'm just looking at Burt Lancaster. This guy was a fox
Burt
when he was
Lancaster
younger.
is powerful on film.
Oh, my gosh. Sam is in Western Colorado. Let's talk about our new favorite hockey player, Matthew Steinberg. Got into a major fight last night. It was throwing right haymakers like it was going out of style. What's up, Sam?
Good morning, Maggie, Perloff. Little additional information about Matt Steinberger. His father was in the crowd last night.
Okay.
And his father is a scout for the Kraken.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, it's Steinberg,
And,
right? You just said Steinberger. Like, is it Steinberg? Matt Steinberg?
Steinberg.
Yeah.
Spelled Ienburg. Okay.
Yeah, a little different spelling.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the guy who made the call on the radio. Normally, Normally that would be my coffee hasn't kicked in yet.
Oh, we need to know
Who's
this guy's name.
He's awesome. The call was so good.
Connor McGahee.
Connor McGahee.
Connor McGahee.
Sam,
He's
good pull.
He's their color man.
There you go. The coffee
Hey, you
kicked
guys
in
have a
just in
great
time.
day.
Oh, thanks. You too, dude. Appreciate that. So Dad's a hockey scout for a rival team. That's cool.
I've
That's
seen
funny.
he is from Halifax. You know, those are some severe weather out there in Nova Scotia.
That's what you
This
got
Matt
for
Steinberg,
me?
yeah, no, I think they're quite notorious as hockey fighters. I have no idea. But anyway, Matt Steinberg, like, he's huge. I just Googled him. We got to follow this guy's career.
I mean, he makes his debut and gets into a fight all in the same game. That's epic.
Fits into this show I'm watching on Hulu, Shoresy, about the Canadian minor league hockey. Got to get you into that one, Mag.
I know. Once Perloff takes a break from the Hallmark movies, he dips into the hockey
Shoresy
shows.
is the exact opposite of a Hallmark movie. It's a profane Western Canada minor league hockey show.
All over it. Coming up, Dianna Russini will join us to break down everything that happened with the Cowboys, Devontae Adams, and all the important things you need to know about the NFL next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Perloff is panicking. Well, no, not yet. That's not fair to you. Welcome to the
About
show.
what?
Well, you said that if the 49ers lose this game to the Chiefs, they should be panicking, and I kind of put you as a panicker.
Panicking at 3-4 when you're the 49ers and you should be 14-3. I think that's when you panic. Again, like, yes, of course, I know how talented the 49ers are, but doesn't this feel like a snake-bitten season?
Yes, but it doesn't feel like a lost season, right? So snake bitten, yeah, but I have other teams that I feel are like way, way more like the Rams. I mean, the Rams, their injuries also started in training camp, also were just compiling on top of each other, and the Rams, I think, don't have a prayer. The 49ers, you're 3-3. Even if you lose this game, you go to 3-4 against the Chiefs. Well, then you have the Dallas Cowboys coming up next week, and you've owned the Cowboys. Now you're back to 4-4, and then you go from there.
I mean, you're right. They do have an easy division, but still, like, I'm used to a certain level of 49er play. Honestly, it's the defense, too. Like, where is that 49ers defense? Are they ever coming back?
Well, Hufanga got hurt again, which is a shame.
I don't even care. Tell me about the defensive line. Are you ever really going to get after the quarterback? Like, they used to be terrifying.
Yeah, well, I mean, Nick Bosa's still disruptive, even if the sack numbers aren't there, you know? So, you know, it's funny. Dianna Russini is going to join us in just a moment, but quickly, Leland is in Sacramento, who's got an update for us on a very important person who's back at practice. Leland, hello.
Good morning, Maggie and Perloff. How you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Awesome. Yeah, I just wanted to call in today and give a shout-out to Ricky Pearsall. You know, he's back at practice this week.
That's wild.
Yeah, and, you know, when this first happened to him, I was in tears, literally tears, hearing that he got shot and wondering if he was going to live or not. And so happy to see him back at practice, giving it 100%. And whether they beat the Chiefs or not, I'm a fan of Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah, Leland, it's a great story. Thank you so much for giving us that update that he's back at practice after he was, you know, victim of a robbery and a shooting. It's amazing.
I don't think we talk about how crazy this story is enough. Guy got shot in the chest and is on the field 5 weeks later or whatever weeks later.
Remember what happened with Brian Robinson? It was an unbelievable story.
But he got shot in the leg, not the chest.
Oh, I know.
This is 10 times more.
Well, okay, let's turn to someone who we not only is just one of our favorite people in general, but also is one of the premier NFL newsbreakers, scoop getters, and fantastic writer, too. Dianna Russini joining us from The Athletic. Her podcast is called Scoop City. It is a must listen. Dianna, thanks so much for doing this. How are you?
Good. It's so good to be here, guys. Thanks for that
really pumped up intro there. And I was listening to you guys just talk about Ricky Pearsall, and just, it's so true. We kind of go through all the different issues with the Niners leading up to this, because the vibes there have been really weird and strange. Obviously with the Christian McCaffrey situation, I still don't really truly fully understand that injury on top of all the holdouts. And then it's like, oh yeah, and then Ricky got shot. It's like, it's unbelievable that he's back at practice, winded, by the way, very winded. Mike Silver just joined The Athletic as one of our senior writers, and he just wrote his first story today about this, and just the fact that it's going to take a minute for Ricky to get back in game shape, but obviously quite the miracle that he was able to survive it,
Dianna, what do you make of this Andy Reid being 21-4 off the bye? This is obviously a big game for the Niners, but I feel like they're kind of screwed by numbers. Patrick Mahomes never loses as an underdog, and Andy Reid can't be beat off the bye. What do you expect to happen in this game?
Yeah, to continue winning, right?
Yeah.
And look, I think it's such a dull answer, and people are bored by the Kansas City Chiefs because they've been so consistently good and so consistent with being able to problem solve. Every offseason, I think we all kind of flirt and stick our toe in the water of, they're going to have a problem here. Maybe Spags lost his touch. And then they come out, and once again, the defense is the one holding this team up. It's something that Patrick Mahomes came on Scoop City, and he was talking about the things that they did poorly last year, which is also a funny thing to discuss when you're coming off a Super Bowl. But, he put a lot of stress on this offense this season, knowing that the defense is the reason why they were able to win last year. So I still think they're sorting it out. This is kind of how Kansas City does it. They try to figure out what their identity is going to be this year. Granted, the foundations are always there, or excuse me, the foundation is always there with Patrick and obviously Travis Kelce continuing to improve as the season goes on. But look, anytime this team has a chance to just rest and kind of get the juices going again, I have all the confidence in the world that they're going to be able to sort this out, knowing that the Chargers, they've done a really good job this year, but just based on what we've seen, this looks like a game the Chiefs could easily win.
Dianna Russini is joining us for The Athletic. Her podcast is called Scoop City, must listen. So you just got back from the owners' meetings. And, some of these owners' meetings, they're probably kind of boring, and they probably, not this one, Dianna, not this one. You have all this news happening with owners. We'll start with Jerry Jones, because you were there to get the follow-up to the now infamous radio interview that he did on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, and you got a chance to talk to him, exclusive to you. He doubled down on everything and also said they're not going to make a move at the trade deadline. Can you give us what is the state of the Cowboys is right now?
Yeah, it's obvious, Maggie. You have attended these league meetings before, so you know what it's like. And for those who haven't been there, it's not just a meeting. It really becomes the war of the lobby, meaning all the reporters are hanging out there. So every owner that gets dropped off at the front of the hotel knows they're going to walk into this lobby, and there's going to be probably 5 to 10 cameras, and usually 10 to 15 reporters, writers running around trying to see who could talk to them. And some owners are really polite and just say, hey, I'm not going to talk. And some do not mind chatting. Woody Johnson walked right up to us. Obviously, the New York Jets have been the biggest story pretty much, I feel like, since the start of the season, but certainly the last 7 days. But Jerry actually declined talking, which I was really surprised, because we know Jerry does not mind sharing his tales and thoughts and opinions with the media. So, he walked outside to get in his car to leave for the day. And I don't know, I felt like I had to probably push a little harder. Jerry's always good with his time, but I don't know. I chased after him. And when I say chase, I mean literally I chased. Not that he's that fast at 82, but he was getting in his car, and I just said, Jerry, you got to kind of acknowledge what happened this morning when you were yelling at the host of your flagship radio station in Dallas. What can you kind of take me through that? And he took issue with that. I said he yelled. He said he did not yell. He's like, my concern is not the volume. That's not what you should be focused on. And he kind of doubled down on the issue of he doesn't think a radio station that works with the Dallas Cowboys, that he makes himself available for, should be really pressing on some of these questions that he just doesn't want to answer. And his point was, you asking me this, other reporters from other stations and outlets, they can do that, but not this one. And Maggie, I was expecting an apology, so I kind of was caught off a little that he didn't. I do think that's going to come, but I was expecting him to say that he got a little cranky or tired or, but yeah, he just laid back into it, explaining that he just doesn't want that type of questions. And then added with some of the follow-ups I asked about McCarthy, are they going to change head coaches? Have they had these conversations? And he was adamant, like they are not firing Mike McCarthy. They're not firing Mike Zimmer. There are going to be no changes, according to Jerry. And they are also not going to be making any moves before the NFL trade deadline on November 5th. So it was a quick conversation, but he obviously emptied the bucket on a lot of different issues.
I was wondering about Cowboys. Why didn't they offer a third-round pick for Davante Adams? The Davante Adams lottery, was it really open to the entire NFL, or was this just going to be the Jets or bust?
It started off really open. In fact, I was poking around on it as soon as the story broke that Davante wanted out. And I thought Dallas was going to be a team that would be aggressive. There were some conversations, but there was never a serious call between Dallas and Vegas about, okay, what would this look like? Because from the Dallas Cowboys perspective on it, they couldn't afford it. They couldn't figure out a way to make that work with his salary. We've been hearing that story a lot, right? But in terms of the teams that were in on Davante truly, the Steelers were in. The Bills were lurking a lot. And I love that word because it's like, is that Brandon Bean with like binoculars?
Tiptoeing around the corner. Yeah. Trench coat.
You know what? I've learned what lurking means because when teams tell me that, it's I'm going to pepper the reporters with trying to find out how serious those other teams are. That's lurking.
Oh, yeah.
Because we want in, but we can't afford it. And obviously you saw Brandon Bean make a better decision in terms of their finances with bringing in Amari Cooper. So it came together for them. But the Saints are a team they were also in on Davante Adams. But in the end, I think the Jets were not going to drop the ball on this. They were not. Woody was committed to getting Aaron Rodgers, his guy.
Dianna Russini is joining us from The Athletic. Her podcast is called Scoop City. Just got a couple more for you, Dianna. Thanks again for joining us. It's like a little laughable, I think, for Aaron Rodgers when he says, I don't have as much power as you think I have, when every single move to the contrary is saying that and showing that he has a lot of power. In terms of moving forward with Davante Adams there now, it's not inconceivable to think this is another year, not just this season, but next season also with the Jets. I mean, is Rodgers just straight up going to pick the next head coach too? I mean, is he, because that building, they love a savior. They love a big splashy guy who can come in and get a lot of headlines. You talked to Woody Johnson. You were there at the owners' meetings. I mean, Rodgers is running the show, right?
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers has a very, very big influence on the New York Jets from day one, from even the time when they were courting him. And look, I'd always been in the camp, from just my opinion, that I appreciated that the Jets had the understanding that they should allow somebody with the experience, the ability, the leadership, and the knowledge of winning, a four-time MVP who has a Super Bowl. Yeah, listen to the guy. Let him have input. I didn't think it would turn into this, though. I feel like the pendulum swung way too far into the powers of Aaron. And look, Aaron has a way about him that I think no matter how you see him or view him from the way he carries himself and his own personal opinions, he is a superstar. And when he came to New York, there was a little bit of that starstruck energy around him all over the building. And I understand it. But in terms of how much influence he had a really good line of communication with Robert Saleh. I think there were some examples when Saleh was in place where Rodgers was coming to him with things that really weren't that great, but Rodgers thought it was great. And Saleh had to be like, look, like, this isn't how we're going to do this. But in terms of his influence, even at the offensive coordinator position, I wrote about it over the weekend that the Jets knew that they had a problem with Nathaniel Hackett. They knew it after last year. Even though they didn't see much with Aaron Rodgers, they saw enough of his play calling to know that something's got to be better here. So let's bring in another offensive mind. So they called Arthur Smith, they called Cliff Kingsbury, they called Luke Getsy. Obviously, Luke Getsy was the quarterback's coach when Aaron Rodgers was there. And they called Eric Bieniemy. And the thought was, we want to pick your brain, make us better, be an influence on this offense, but you're not going to be a play caller. We're not moving on from Nathaniel Hackett. This is Aaron's guy, but come here. Well, guess where all those 4 went? They all got jobs as play callers, right? Because that's what they wanted to do. So you have to figure, I wonder how things would shake out for Robert Saleh if he was able to just make that move, get rid of Nathaniel Hackett, demote him, fire him, whatever it is that he would have felt was best for the organization, and bring in someone that maybe could have made this offense better. Because now we're at a point where we see Todd Downing, and there's already an improvement.
Dianna, the trade deadline coming up early November. What about the Detroit Lions? Any chance that they can try to find a replacement for injured Aiden Hutchinson?
Yeah, they've made a lot of calls around the league. Hassan Reddick hired Drew Rosenhaus. Drew was calling everyone on Monday night. In some situations, I think even during the game, where calling Buffalo. Buffalo's like, what? Like, we got a game.
Is that true though? Can they actually get Hassan Reddick? Because that would be great.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
They're not going to be getting Hassan Reddick, but Drew's doing his best. And look, the Woody Johnson shared this with us. Drew's a exceptional agent, and he was brought in and hired to get something done with the Jets. Like, they want to make this work, but they wanted to go kind of see what the market is. So there's a short window that the Jets are allowing Drew to call teams to figure out, all right, who's in. So the Lions are one of them that he reached out to. So I don't think this is going to be a match. But I do think that the Lions are going to try to figure something out, whether it's another player off the practice squad, because that's what a lot of good organizations do. I was having a conversation with the GM the other day about that. I think we tend to just look at the big star players to fill the gaps. But there's a lot of players that are available, cheaper, that can also make sense that we just don't realize because they're on practice squads and they're being hidden. I do think Detroit's going to try, but sometimes in these situations, they want to, it just doesn't work out.
Dianna, last one for me, and I know you're short on time, so thanks for doing this and appreciate you always. I saw the video of Tom Brady walking into the Raiders facility to a standing ovation, which probably happens to him like anywhere he goes, but he's a 10% minority owner now, or a little less maybe. How much power do you think he has in decision-making? They need a quarterback. They may need a new head coach.
Yeah, he's going to have influence on that. He's definitely going to have influence. He's going to weigh in and give his opinion about where they should go at quarterback next year, if that's what they decide to do. Mark Davis shared with us that he did not want to define the role right now. They needed a second to kind of figure out how they're going to do it. I don't believe that. I think they know exactly what Tom Brady is there for, and that is excellence. So I think Tom Brady will be an addition to an organization that has been really open to hearing opinions. Mark Davis has hired 9 million different veteran head coaches to weigh in on what they're doing in Vegas. So why would you not give someone like Tom Brady, we talk about Aaron Rodgers knowing how to win. I think the GOAT knows how to win. Don't you think it would behoove them? I would give the keys to Tom Brady. But yeah, so I think that's a good thing for Vegas. But for me, Mag, when I saw Tom walk in, the only thing I noticed was that jug of water. He's just a constant reminder that we're not drinking enough water, right? Yeah. All of us. Yeah. Drink water, buy a jug. The guy's getting introduced as the new owner, and he's still concerned about hydration. So we need to all do a better job with that.
Well, and 10 times in Vegas. I mean, got to take water breaks in Vegas or you'll never make it.
I think the three of us can define his role right now. Like, he should make the decision, right?
Yeah, shadow GM.
Can you make define his role? Like, is there any reason Mark Davis shouldn't hand the keys over?
No, I mean, Mark Davis is still always going to be the majority owner, and
Right.
the thought process is it's always going to run through Mark. Mark likes to consult. He wants to be in on everything, obviously. But I think they're going to probably sort this out as it goes. And I'm sure for Tom, this is the first time he's doing this. My bigger question is he going to keep up with the broadcasting? I'm curious to see if he's going to try to get out of that deal.
Whoa. Really?
Now that he's part owner here of the Raiders. It's something I'm watching. I don't know if he's going to do it. But that just seems like a lot on him to have to go out there, do all these games, then be part of the Raiders. So we'll see if he stays committed to both.
I think it's one and done for Brady broadcasting as well. It'd be a big one and done if his last game's the Super Bowl, and then the Belichick rumors are already out there.
Yeah, that I saw that. I don't know anything about that yet. I'm curious. He's got Brady talks to a lot of people. He's got incredible relationships with everyone. Bill Belichick obviously comes to mind. I just saw Robert Kraft do an interview talking all about the hardships that Tom Brady was faced with under Bill Belichick. So I'm not sure where that relationship's at now. They appear to be fine, the way they talk about each other in public and the way we've seen Bill reflect on Tom. But Brady also has his former teammate and really good friend Mike Vrabel around. Why wouldn't you make that call if that's the direction you want to go in terms of building a brand new culture? Which, by the way, this is no disrespect to Antonio Pierce, because I asked Mark Davis about that as well. Like, are you going to keep AP here? Has he done enough? And he's like, it's still early. It's still early for us, but I like what he's doing. So Antonio still has this job, but I have a feeling I'll be back on the show at some point over the next few years, hearing that there's been some change there, and Tom Brady had a lot to do with it.
Yeah. Dianna Russini, The Athletic, Scoop City. Love the podcast. You and Chase are awesome together, and we always turn to you for the best info. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. You are our breakfast coffee listen in the morning. We tell Alexa to put you on, and she plays it. And Mikey and Joey, my sons, know you guys. So one day they're going to freak out if they ever meet you in person. They'll be like, oh, that's the voice behind the face.
If they meet us, we're putting them to work. They can run our social media. Thank you, Dianna Russini. It's the best. Say hi to your parents for me. Absolutely love them. It's great. Diana's got the best info. Mm-hmm. All of that. Okay, we got to take a quick break. We'll digest some of what Dianna just told us there. A lot to do. It's Maggie Perloff. Prize picks, prize picks, prize picks. Say it 3 times. Maybe your bets will turn around. No, that's the best part about prize picks. And Perloff and I are absolutely obsessed, especially this time of year, with prize picks, because something they like to call a little flex play. Yes, that's when you can cash out one of your picks if it doesn't hit. The beauty of prize picks, Perloff, is that you can bet multiple, you can get sports action rather, on multiple sports, and it's so easy. All you do is pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projection, and you could win up to 100 times your money.
Yeah, I am betting hard against Bo Nix tonight, under 194.5 yards. That feels very gettable. Prize Picks even invented Flex Play, so you can still cash out if one of your picks doesn't hit. Just download the Prize Picks app today and use the code MNP and get a $50 credit instantly when you play $5. That's code MNP on Prize Bet to get a $50 credit instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Must be present in certain states where it's lawful to wager. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. Sorry, deep dive into the Dodgers lineup right there. A lot of intricate baseball talk this time of year right now. I am surprised and shocked and saddened by how down the Mets fans in this building came in this morning. This is where the Mets thrive. Down 2-1. They got to be exactly where they want them.
It's just me. Don't paint everybody else. I'm the one who's being negative today.
Bogus has taken his kid to the game and is already anticipating how he's going to have to sort of assuage Jake's crying tears after they lose. Why? It's going to be good. You guys should be optimistic. I mean, I took the approach that the Phillies were going to get killed. And they did.
Yeah, we're not taking our cues from you.
Yeah, I think that the Mets are in good shape.
I don't trust, believe, accept anything you say about the Mets.
You understand I can't affect the outcome, Andrew Bogus.
No, I know, but I don't know the reason, rationale for the things you've been saying about them. But no, thank you. Let us just be us. And they're down 2-1 to a team that's playing very, 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 very good. It's a little unnerving.
Wait, hold on one second. Is it just you and Jake who are going? Are you taking the whole family?
No, it's just me and Jake.
Okay. Do you have like a big plan? Like, you going to dinner first? Are you going?
No, the game starts at 5 o'clock. I got to get him out of school and go right there.
Oh, right. It's an early start.
Yeah.
I'm loving these early starts, except for last night. Yeah, don't listen to Perloff. And don't listen to me, quite frankly, because I tend to go to the negative pretty fast.
I mean, there's reasons to be negative. It's possible the Mets are just kind of running out of steam, having been on this sprint for months to even get into the postseason. So it's just possible that this and the Dodgers just might be better. I mean, they were better. They are better. So I got no one's given up. I'm going to watch tonight. I'm going to assume that Quintana's going to pitch well, but they're playing from behind and they're the underdog in the series. That's not good.
Yeah. Thanks, Pearl.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
And
Getting us on
again,
this
like we're
topic.
not running away from this. We're not switching teams. I'm not going, well, it's football season anyway. Like I'm sitting here being a Mets fan
Well,
still.
to be fair, your football team's the Giants.
And Fordham hasn't won a game yet in football either. So is it
Are they
basketball
still
season
winless?
yet?
Are they
yeah,
still
they're
winless?
still winless. They only play once a week, thankfully. So they sit on that winless for a while.
I think they're due. Fordham, that
Me
is, not
too.
the Mets. The Mets are also due, but a different kind of way. Bogish has headlines for us. And by the way, if you missed our interview with Dianna Russini, highly suggest and recommend to go back and listen to it either on the Odyssey app, which is free to download, or the Maggie and Perloff podcast, which comes out every day. Bogues, what's going on?
Sean Payton returns to New Orleans tonight, roughly 3 years after his divorce with the Saints. It's also Saints Hall of Fame induction night for Drew Brees, so there are good storylines. The actual football might be the problem. The Saints have lost 4 in a row after that 2-0 start. They scored 91 points in those 2 games, just 76 since, and both they and the Broncos are banged up. Rookie Spencer Rattler makes his second start in place of the injured Derek Carr. Broncos corner Patrick Surtain and Saints receiver Chris Olave are out with concussions. Taysom Hill's down with a rib injury, and Saints receiver Rashid Shaheed is having surgery this morning in L.A. for a meniscus injury. We'll know if he can play again this season after the procedure. Those Mets now on a 2-1 hole in the NLCS. Those 2 losses by a combined score of 17-0, courtesy of last night's 8-0 home loss to the Dodgers. Francisco Lindor on the task at hand.
Stay the course. Stay the course. Continue to compete. Come back tomorrow and give everything you have. You know, they're a really good team. They're a really good pitching staff and good hitters. And you have to give them everything you have. Otherwise, you're not going to win.
Lindor was 0 for 4 last night, including a strikeout with the bases loaded in the second inning. The Dodger offense included homers from Kike Hernandez, Shohei Ohtani, and Max Muncy. Walker Buehler and 4 relievers combining for their 4th shutout in 5 games. Buehler putting 4 scoreless on the board.
I said earlier I like pitching in the cold. The ball was moving around pretty good for me today, and Will did a really good job. You look, shutouts in the playoffs don't come easy, and he did a really, really good job back there tonight.
It feels like they're coming easy, though. Will is catcher Will Smith. Buehler speaking postgame on FS1. Both LCSs played today. The Yankees in their 2-0 lead in Cleveland at 5 Eastern, then Mets and Dodgers again at 8. Sabrina Ionescu's 28'3" with 1 second left got the Liberty an 80-77 win in Minnesota. That's a 2-1 lead on the Lynx in the WNBA Finals. New York can win its first ever title tomorrow night, Game 4 still in Minneapolis.
Sorry, one thing about that. So Ryan Rucco has this great call. We played it for you earlier this morning, but he says, Sabrina Ionescu, she hits it. It's the biggest bucket in New York Liberty history. Now, Rucco's sitting next to Rebecca Lobo, who's a legend for the New York Liberty, right?
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, what's the biggest basket in New York Liberty? They've never won a title, obviously. Is it Sabrina's last night to take a 2-1 lead, or is it the first bucket that was ever? Like, how influential is just the breaking through of women's professional basketball? I think
Well, the other thing, too, for Rucco, I mean, they've also hit a game-winning shot in the finals before. Tracy Weatherspoon hit a 3/4 court shot in Game 2 that kept that series alive against Houston, which I think was the first WNBA
ever
finals.
Yeah, right.
So that was a
But
leap.
they didn't win.
And they did not win. The Liberty might not win this series. That was a little bit of a leap for him to go
I
with
just
that.
thought, does Rebecca Lobo think that's...
I mean, Lobo's on the team.
That's
so
what
she
I'm
was
saying.
there for that, right?
Does she think that was the most... I think it's the history, it's not written yet.
Right. So, which I think makes, for now, that shot last night is the biggest.
It's the front runner.
Consolidated by them winning the title. Like the Witherspoon 3, it becomes like Andy Chavez's catch for the Mets. Like it doesn't count if you don't win.
Yep. There's a lot here, how that call is going to go down. But I was wondering if Rebecca Lobo looked at him like, what?
I don't even think it's even close. That is by 20-fold the biggest shot in Liberty history. I mean, how many times has there been a final shot like that in NBA? Has that ever happened?
Literally, we just said one.
I'm saying Teresa Witherspoon hit one in the final.
Well, I know, but like NBA, but I think the Liberty are up 2-1. They're probably going to win. Like, name an NBA shot that's equivalent. A guy hit a 3-pointer. It's like Ori and Derek Fisher, but those are big shots.
Oh, it's a huge shot.
No, it's a massive
and she
shot.
was covered, too.
I don't think he was wrong.
Yeah, I thought that was not even close.
If they win, it will probably be remembered. But Teresa Witherspoon, if you're taking at this same time back then, that was as big a shot.
Yeah,
Anyway.
they would have then they won the next game, won the finals. Like it was almost the same thing. The only difference is that it was best of 3, so it's basically a winner take all last game. Now it's best of 5.
And that shot is in every WNBA historical montage too. Especially like the baseline shot where you see it coming and it banks in off that shot has been played a bazillion times since.
Yeah, it's like Jerry West hitting the shot. It's actually almost the exact same. Jerry West hitting that half-court shot against the Knicks, where it's like any highlight is going to show that. And they did not win that series kind of similarly.
Yeah. LJ with the Knicks.
Yeah.
The 4-point play.
Last night's NBA preseason action included Lonzo Ball playing for the Bulls for the first time in over 1,000 days because of multiple knee surgeries.
Felt a lot better playing than watching. I'll say that much. I can't even really put into words how I felt out there. I was just blessed, happy to be out there, man. All the support around me was great all night. Man, it was definitely a moment I'll never forget.
Lonzo scored 10 points in 15 minutes in a 125-123 win over the T-Wolves. His last game for the Bulls was January 14th of 2022. The Anaheim Ducks won their 9th straight home opener last night, 5-4 in OT over the Utah Hockey Club. The Penguins topped the Sabres 6-5 in overtime after Evgeny Malkin became the 48th player to score 500 career goals, and Sidney Crosby became the 10th skater ever with 1,600 career points. And I've got another update this morning on our favorite banished Brazilian swimmer.
And only.
Luana Alonso has been contacted by sex doll company Real Doll asking if they can make an exact replica of her Olympic swimming feet for their creepy customers. Maggie, listen up. Apparently a pair of replica feet can go for $3,500 a pair. This is on the heels of Luana beginning her OnlyFans page earlier this week, all because she got sent home allegedly from the Olympic Village for creating a, quote, inappropriate atmosphere with her clothes and behavior.
Wow, so much here. First of all, I hope that she's seen the movie Air, because she needs to get a Michael Jordan style contract with these feet. Like, you got to do in the movie Perloff, Michael Jordan's mother is portrayed as by Viola Davis. She's the one who goes to Sonny Vaccaro, the sneaker executive, and says, no, we want a cut of every shoe sold, every sneaker. This woman's got to get a cut of every replica of her feet. Don't sign some kind of license. I don't know. She needs a percentage.
Yeah, 10 cents a toe.
Wait, I'm sorry. It's not just her feet that people are interested in, right?
This specific question is for her feet.
Okay.
I didn't know that sex doll companies were going into specific areas. I just assumed it was,
Different clientele, different tastes.
I guess you got to flood the market.
Yeah.
Flood the zone. I also didn't realize her feet were part of the story.
Your feet really shouldn't ever be part of the story, but I think that this just exists. Like, if you're pretty and men like this like you, then they want to see your feet.
Your feet too. Well, this is good and gives hope for people like me, because I'm just assuming as a professional athlete and a swimmer, her feet have to be huge. It's a competitive advantage. It's like Michael Phelps. His feet and his ankles go in these weird directions. It's like he's a dolphin.
And this is good news for you, Hal. It's just more acceptable for your huge feet.
Maybe there's a future for me.
What's that website?
Swimming?
Big feet people like me.
What's that website where your feet were on display?
Wiki Feet.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I'm not getting anything
I
from
didn't.
that.
Just to be clear, I mean, you, Maggie Gray, not just your feet in general. Like, that wasn't a universal you. Maggie Gray's feet can be found on WikiFeet.
Yeah, thank you.
If you want to do a search.
I'm not getting anything from that, which feels like a violation.
I feel violated for you as a friend by that website. That's heinous that thing exists.
Should I be more offended? I'm more offended I'm not getting paid.
To each your own.
I feel like it's a little harmless, no? I mean, is that really heinous?
Pinky toe here.
Well, the problem that I had with it was not just the pictures of Maggie's feet that are like not even, they're just pictures of Maggie and her feet happen to be in them.
Yeah.
But it also lists Maggie's height and age and date of birth. Like, that's weird. Like,
Gotcha.
that's weird.
I forgot that my social security number was.
Yeah,
up
I don't
there.
need to know your likes
Just
and
kidding.
dislikes and stuff like that.
It wasn't even.
Likes, long walks on the beach.
It wasn't bare feet. It was sort of open.
I was in sandals.
Sandals, right?
It's my own fault for wearing the sandals.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Well,
no, you
it's
should
your
have been
fault if you
thinking
feel
about
bad.
wiki feet.
I should be wearing combat boots.
You should sell
only.
ad space on those feet.
Like a Yankees jersey.
Yeah. You can put prize picks, one on each foot.
I'd love it. I'll end up looking like some kind of soccer kit. It's like I got one on the heel, one here, one here. All right, this is a little bit tough for radio, but bear with me. I sent all of you guys a text message like 2 minutes ago. I was also listening to Bogus's update. I was multitasking.
You weren't. It's fine.
It's a tweet, and it's about the uniforms that the University of Illinois is going to be wearing this Saturday against Michigan. They're 1920s themed uniforms commemorating the 100th anniversary of Red Grange's 6-touchdown game versus Michigan. So what do we think about these? Because I'm going to tell you what it looks like. I'll explain it to you. This will be a story on Monday or during the game. So it's a helmet, but it's painted to look like leather. And it's got strap. It looks like straps. It's a very artistic rendition. This is giving me major Silence of the Lambs vibes, though.
Oh, I saw this before we came in the studio. I think they're amazing, and they're everything that the Giants' 100th anniversary uniforms are not.
Well, they're similar to the Giants. Yeah.
Right.
They're very similar except for the helmet.
These are
and the colors are
perfectly
way better.
executed, and the Giants' ones were not.
Yeah,
Wait, the Giants were trying to replica a leather helmet with those?
Well, no. But the Giants, this weird alternate uniform is the 100th anniversary of the Giants, and it's weird pants, and the helmet's not leather, but it's supposed to be an old helmet.
Got it.
This is how you do old.
This is great. Yeah,
this is great.
You guys like this? You're not getting any Silence of the Lambs vibes
No,
on this?
I'm mesmerized by the helmet, how they were able to make it look like leather, but not be leather.
That's one of the things that actually annoys me the most when teams do the 100-year kind of thing. The Packers wear a very old uniform that's kind of supposed to be from like the 30s and 40s.
Yeah, the Acme
It's like
pack.
they're putting like a colored helmet. It's like, this is not what they look like. It's not the uniform. This is really creative.
You like this?
Oh,
Love it.
Yeah.
So when they do the 100-year, this is closer to realistic. You're
Yeah.
right. But the helmet, the Giants helmet was a retro helmet too, wasn't it? When they did that ugly 100-year thing.
Yeah, they're doing it now. It looks like a Michigan's helmet.
Yeah,
trying
that
to
definitely wasn't. That definitely wasn't. They didn't have a Michigan helmet in 1944. They were wearing leather back then.
Yeah, so this is a modern helmet that's being painted to look like it's leather. Straps, the tan color, everything. It's supposed to look leather, but it's obviously a modern helmet. You could never play with a leather helmet today.
It looks. I think it looks great.
Really? I'm creeped out by it a little.
Yeah. There's gonna be. By the way, have you guys seen the Packers uniform for this week? That's getting a lot of hype.
No.
Oh, the all white, right?
All
Yeah.
white.
What do they call it? White cheddar?
That thing is.
That's a cool name.
That's getting nice reviews. I don't think that's retro though, because all white.
No, this is just a new uniform.
Yeah.
It's so. I know. They think of cheese heads, so it's kind of weird not to see them in the yellow helmet, but still, anything that wears all white, it always works. Just everybody should do it.
Yeah, I've always feel bad for the offensive linemen, though, in all white. That is not flattering.
Yeah,
It
it
is.
doesn't help them.
Ugh.
We care more about Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, like when the Bengals and the white tiger.
Yeah.
All
that's
white makes you look chubbier. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah.
Just
I
a
mean,
little see-through sometimes.
Yeah.
Like wear black to look thin.
Yeah.
Like
because,
vertical stripes.
offensive linemen, look, they're all in really great shape, but sometimes they've got, like, big bellies, and the white just does them no favors.
Well, these Illinois uniforms have stripes. They're thinning.
855-212-4227 Bogus. Thank you. We've been asking you all morning, who is the greatest actor who's ever played an athlete? Perloff is watching the Aaron Hernandez drama series, and you like everything but the actual sports.
Yeah, you can see the clips. They're hysterically funny. You've seen them, right? Where they're running around like it looks like a 5th grade play. They're so bad at football. But the comments keep coming in. There are a lot of actors who are real pro athletes. I wonder, do we have to disqualify them?
We'll get to that next. Maggie and Perloff, don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Gray, Andrew Perloff. It's been a fun show. We got a lot more to do, though. Hang on one second. Talk amongst yourselves. There's so many things here. The guys with fetus. Okay, here we go. The Dependable Player of the Week is sponsored by Depend and the Prostate Cancer Foundation, reminding you that health is a long game and screening for prostate cancer is easier than ever. Learn more at depend.com. That was worth the wait. All right, Dependable Player. I think EJ selected this, and so I know who it is.
Sabrina?
I was going to say, or he might say Stewie, Brianna Stewart, because she was the one who actually dropped 30 last night, even though Sabrina Ionescu had the game winner. Who is it?
So you're going with Stewie?
Yeah.
And Pearl going with Ionescu?
Yes.
The Dependable Player this week is Sabrina Ionescu.
All right.
Because, Stewie had a great game, but when it came down to the wire, it was Ionescu's bombs that put the Liberty over the top. And shout out to the Liberty for actually finally going to Sabrina late in games. Like, so many of these plays go to Stewie, and she ends up not coming through. This time, they trusted the ball in their best ball handlers and best shooters' hands, and guess what? Good things happen.
Yeah, I mean, she hit the big one. She hit the long one, then a long one went in and out, almost hit the bottom of the net and came out. Yeah, she was feeling it. Very Curry-like, right?
Yeah, I even said, it's funny, me and my brothers were watching the game last night. It felt almost like what Luka did to Rudy Gobert on that same court. Remember game 1 or 2, whenever he stepped back on Rudy and hit the 3, it was almost the exact same spot at the target.
I was thinking about it for the Lynx standpoint. Like, you don't even feel bad. Like, what are you going to do? Right? I mean, you just got beat.
Yeah, they have a chance to rebound on their home floor. What's today? Thursday? So that's Friday. When's the next game? We'll look that up. Tomorrow, Friday. Okay, we've been asking this question all morning long, and it's about which actor portrayed the best athlete. Who was the most convincing in, someone who has no sports background whatsoever, but convinced us of their sports acumen in a sports movie. One that we did not think of, Perloff, shame on us, is Robert De Niro in Raging Bull. Now, we were talking about boxing movies. We brought up Mark Wahlberg. I mean, Raging Bull, not just the amount of weight that De Niro gained and lost throughout the shooting of that movie, but the boxing scenes, there are a lot of them.
Yeah, I don't know if boxing movies really count for this. Anybody can look like a boxer. I mean, you could go down to the Equinox right now and take a boxing class. I think
I don't know if it'd have the same
I
effect.
think it's much harder for actors to do sports that involve balls, like shooting a basketball. So I think most Kevin Costner, because he did it in Tin Cup, he did it as a pitcher in For Love of the Game, and he did it as a hitter in Bull Durham. Someone called him the Shohei Ohtani of actors. I think that's like real. Anybody can look like a boxer, in my opinion.
Yeah, a lot of people have tried. I mean, obviously.
Can you name a bad boxer?
Marlon Brando was good and on the waterfront. You had even Jake Gyllenhaal, I think, was a boxer at one point.
And obviously, Michael B. Jordan's been doing it now.
Michael B. Jordan's been doing it.
Yeah, everybody looks good, right? It's hard.
Who was Cinderella Man? Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe.
Yeah, because I feel like it's closest to actually acting, right?
Yeah.
Like it's almost like stunt work, really.
Yeah, it's like choreography.
Yeah, because there are people. The Rock does fighting scenes in movies. It's not boxing, but it's not that far away.
But shooting a basketball is much harder to fake.
Oh, it's impossible, which is why I'll never shoot a basketball on camera. Mike is in California, our pal. Mike, who do we leave out?
So I got kind of two from the same movie, but the major one to me was Billy D. Williams and James Caan and Brian Song doing Gale Sayers and Brian Piccolo.
Yep. Yeah, Billy D. Williams. Did he not have any
you
kind
know,
of sports background at all?
No, Billy D. Williams went to art academies. He never had played a single sport in his life, and James Caan tried to walk on in Michigan and got denied. So neither one of them ever played sport or ever. At least James Caan liked football, but Billy D. Williams had to be taught the game. He had no idea what he was doing.
That's amazing, Mike. Great to hear from you. What's on the menu this weekend?
Doing a couple briskets this weekend.
I've got
a couple people, some friends have been wanting some briskets. So I'm going to throw a couple briskets on Friday and big burnt-in hoagies for football on Sunday.
Always a crowd pleaser. And Mike, good luck to your Saints tonight in Thursday Night Football.
Don't remind me. Don't remind me.
I'm sorry.
It's horrible.
We get Drew Brees going into the Ring of Honor or whatever.
Yeah, at least we got that. But I mean, we're starting pretty much the entire third string on offense, I think, tonight. So should be wonderful.
Mike, well, at least the food's going to taste good. Thank you so much for the call. Mike used to call us in the afternoon a lot, and now still calls even though he's in California, and it's super early there.
Maggie, I think you really influenced this conversation about the actors because I'm getting more and more people are sending me this stat that cannot be true, that Charlie Sheen hit 90 at one point on the set of Major League. That's got to be an urban legend. There's no way Charlie Sheen was throwing that kind of gas.
No, I think that he said he took steroids. I thought he told Dan Patrick that.
Wait, no, I don't remember that.
Make that
he
revelation
took
on the
steroids
DP
for
show?
Major League?
I thought so. Listen, a lot of actors take steroids for stuff.
Well,
for
like
roles.
boxing movies, there's no way to play Ricky Vaughn. Wild thing.
I think he wanted the velo up.
That's funny.
I could have sworn he said that to Dan Patrick.
I think somehow I just searched Charlie Sheen steroids Dan Patrick. Somehow I think Lenny Dykstra may have told Dan Patrick about this. And I
Charlie
think he may
Sheen
have said
told
that they
Sports
both
Illustrated.
did drugs together,
Yeah.
and he talked about using steroids. Maybe that's how this got in here.
It said he told Sports Illustrated in 2011.
Oh, all right. Well,
Okay, so he did
that's
say
where
that
you and I were working.
Yeah, I don't
knew
remember.
that story seemed familiar. Yes.
That is funny. I mean, you're right. A lot of actors, like Sylvester Stallone, was rumored to a long time.
Did we need a rumor for that
Actually,
one?
yeah. I mean, I was trying to be
Allegedly.
kind.
Yeah, no, that's nice of you. We don't know. We don't want to slander somebody.
I bet a lot of people send me Rodney Dangerfield doing the dive in the movie Back to School. Rodney, that was, I think, a stunt double. A 75-year-old Rodney
Lindy?
Dangerfield did
Yeah.
not do the triple Lindy.
Aw. Don't pull back the curtain like that.
Caddyshack, however, that was his real golf swing, Maggie. You'll like that.
I bet. Thank you, DJ Stewart. Thank you to Ryan Botcher, Andrew Bogish, Andrew Kaplan, Dianna Russini, who joined us, the Weedos and the Coffee Drinkers. If you miss any part of the show, download the Maggie and Perloff podcast or the absolutely free Odyssey app. See you tomorrow.
You're in a 5-minute break.